What's happening, Go Community? Episode 363 is here, and I sit down with Zack and CB to take a deep dive into the PlayStation experience that had a ton of fun announcements this week. There's also some interesting news to discuss regarding the legal feud between Apple and Epic, and you'll also hear Zack's thoughts on Tales of Arise, and he and I also played a pinball RPG called World Flipper. Yes, you heard that right. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 363 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, September 13th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Zach Parkerson. What's up, man?
I'm riding high this week.
Are ya?
Yeah, man. Matrix Resurrection trailer.
Oh,
I had
man.
to watch it 55 times.
Did you take the blue pill or the red pill?
Well, on the teaser site?
Yeah, well, I took both just because I had to see.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, I am of the internet age. I took both. But it was fun that they had different teasers.
That was kind of cool. Also joining us, Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm back.
You're back. It's been a couple weeks, man.
Almost a month.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, man. It's good to have you back, as always. Gotta give a shout-out to a couple of our crew. I met up with our producer, Nate Lucas, and two of our writers, Kevin Honigford and Jacob Gunderson, and all three of these guys happen to be in our D&D group together as well. We all went up to a concert in Milwaukee on a school night, and I didn't even tell you guys this part yet, I don't think. We were sitting around waiting for the band to start, and some of the staff came over to us and said, "Hey, are you guys here to see Coheed?" And one of our guys said, "Yeah," and they gave us, "Well, here you go," handed us 4 VIP passes to get in the front row. Like, we were in the very front row at my favorite band of all time. It was
Very
awesome.
nice.
So, but it was
Did you wear a Coheed shirt?
I did not.
Okay, I know you're debating with yourself.
Yeah, I did not wear a Coheed shirt. That's like an unwritten rule. You don't wear a shirt of the band you're going to see. But I got a lot of flack for that.
I think only the fans care. I don't think a band would care.
No, it's just there's an old movie with Jeremy Piven's called PCU, where he is talking to a guy that is wearing a shirt, and he's like, "Don't be that guy," because he wore a shirt of the band he was going to see. Granted, it was a college band, so it didn't really matter. But
I think I would be infinitely happy to see a Gaming Outsider shirt for the rest of my life.
That's true. That's fair enough to say. Well, CB, you've been gone for quite a while, so you've had quite a bit of catching up to do, I assume. Anything you've been playing that's not brand new?
Let's see. I've been playing Alien Fireteam Elite.
This is what
I've
been. Your opinion is the one I've been waiting on.
Well, I have things to say about it. First off, I love it, and I hate it at the same time.
Oh.
So, the gameplay, the aesthetic, everything about this game is everything I've ever wanted in an Alien game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good start.
The glitches are atrocious.
I haven't hit as many glitches as you have, I don't think.
So, our producer Nate and I have been playing this a lot.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this, yeah.
Actually, on 2 different occasions now, we've been up to the final mission, and we're like, we're tired. We'll come back to this tomorrow. And we both log in the next day, and it's rolled me back the entire last 24 hours played. So we had to
Lost
replay
all his progress.
Like everything, and we get back, and it rolled me back again. Not that I mind, because I'm still loving playing it.
But you still lost all of your... Did you still keep your weapons and stuff?
No, I didn't. So I had to re-level those up again. I mean, to give you an idea, Nate has maxed out one of the characters, and I still have not maxed out one, and we've played just about the same amount of time. So it's a little discouraging, but there's so many Easter eggs that they've put in this game that just make me happy. Like some of the emotes that they've done. Like one is Bishop's knife trick.
Oh, cool.
There's another one like Sergeant Apone's look into my eye.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. The guns sound exactly like they do in the movies. Like they've given this a lot of detail. I mean, it's like the little things. Like even when you're fighting up against some androids in the game. If you shoot them in the head, they do Ash's like little freak out and everything. Just, I never knew how much I needed this game in my life.
Sounds like it was made with a lot of love, huh?
Yes,
sure.
so much. I want to finish it because I want to see like where they take the story, because the story is somewhat entertaining from an Aliens like fan perspective, because they're doing some new things with it. Plus, you can't unlock Horde mode until you finish the campaign.
Right.
And that's weird. What I really want. And Nate and I have talked at length about this. This game has legs. This game could go on for a while. It would not be hard.
Like add a new class?
Yep, you have the new class, the Phalanx.
Mm-hmm.
So adding new classes will not be hard. I'm actually waiting further on down the line for them to add like an android class, even, hopefully.
All right. We had an android in our party. We just called him Alpha.
Yeah.
Right, Nate? Or Zach?
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Yeah. That's a long time ago now that I played this game.
A long time ago.
Yeah, there's Alpha and Beta.
Yeah.
But I actually can even see them doing a DLC expansion side where you're playing the alien side of things. So
how would that work?
You
shoot
down
acid
Marines.
So just totally melee, no shooting?
Sure, I'd be all for it. Let's go.
Bring in the Predator and let's make some AVP stuff going on.
No.
I think it's nice to have something that's just Alien and something that's just Predator every now and again.
Yeah, but the last Predator thing we got was one of those like 4-on-1 games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hunting Grounds.
Oh man, it was just free on PlayStation Plus. That's the correct price for that game.
Yes, it is. I'm not a big fan of the 4v1 play style.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
So unless it's the Friday the 13th game, then I'm all for it.
I wish I had made more time to play with you guys. I know that I think you guys played with Kevin at one point as well. And Kevin had the same problem I did, that he could not get a kill in edgewise because Nate just took out everything. I swear I would like aim my shotgun at something and right before I pull the trigger, Nate kills it. So like...
Well, that's because Nate also played like the heavy DPS class.
Right.
Whereas I like playing the technician, which is more of a support role.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the one time you did play with us, you were playing the healer.
Well, yeah.
So what do you expect to do for a lot of kills? Like, you're there to keep us alive.
That shotgun feels good. I'm not going to lie. I
like it. It really does, especially some of the later ones you unlock.
I did play a little with you guys since we recorded last time, and that was it's just dumb fun. It's just great just to sit back and have conversations, and there's still some coordinating, and because you guys I was playing a level with you guys that you had already completed, so you knew the tricks and what was going on, and that was kind of fun to just like follow your lead and do that. I am enjoying this game far more than I expected to.
Yeah, those challenge cards too can make that game really interesting.
Zach, I didn't tell you about that because we barely saw the challenge cards, but they give you these cards that you actually purchase with the currency. It's like it's all I ever bought with the currency was those, because you can get like skins and stuff, but I just don't really care, or emotes. But they give you challenge cards that like double or triple your XP, or double or triple your currency that you gain if you complete some task when you go through it. There was one that we did where the health packs just randomly work, or like you have like a 1 out of 2 chance for them to not work and to actually drain your health all the way to 0. But if you survive that skirmish, then you get triple the experience or something. The one that was driving you guys crazy was when they just turn off the tracker.
Oh yeah,
like for the entire run, there's no tracker.
It took the HUD away, which I thought was just going to be the tracker. No, it's everything on the screen is turned off. So you don't know how many
rounds you have left. You have no aiming reticle, so you basically have to aim with your Spitfire or whatever. I don't know what's the correct terminology for that, but that was an interesting run.
Yeah, we made it though.
We did. But they come up with some really clever ways to just kind of put a little twist on this one level that you play in, and if you make it, you get a nice little bonus, which is kind of fun. So
the one that was the most annoying, I don't know how you feel about it, but remember you had the one where it monochromatics the screen,
Oh, so it makes it look like it's like black and white, like an old, like not even black and white, like a old movie, like the brownish.
It looks like the tracker footage from the movies where they're watching through the cameras, where it's like green and like it makes it really difficult, surprisingly, because things blend in.
Mm-hmm.
But man, loving it. I'm gonna keep playing this one for a while. So
I will try to play some more with you guys this week. I promise.
So, other than that, I've been playing another game called A Day Without Me, which is
or
a
in our
indie
case,
game.
3 weeks without you.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
This one's just an achievement chaser. It's 1,000 achievement points in less than 20 minutes.
Oh,
it's
wow.
funny you say that because all the images look so artsy online.
It kind of reminded me of a bad Untitled Goose Game.
Ugh.
Interesting.
Where, because the game doesn't tell you really what to do, it just says, like, go here. And then you look around for a puzzle and you solve the puzzle. The puzzles aren't that great. One of them, like, you have to spell the word fire, but when they coded it, it's misspelled, so it's F-R-I-E.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
That's amazing.
There's another one where you light a bunch of heads on fire that are growing in flower boxes, and then the heads transform into a giant, like, rock, and Indiana Jones chase after you.
What is this game, man?
I'm like, I've gotten all the achievement points because the achievement points only go up to chapter 5, but there's a few more chapters after that. And this game is weird, man. Like, I'm not sure what to make of it. The story is bizarre.
Is it like a metaphor or?
I think it's kind of like you're in a dreamscape and you're trying to escape, but nobody talks, does nothing. It's just weird. You're the only character in the game too, so like there's no NPCs, there's nothing. So buyer beware. It's cheap, but know what you're getting into. Like it's not going to be a fun time.
But easy achievements, like you said.
Yeah, that's about it.
Right.
Don't expect much else. And then I've also been playing Surgeon Simulator 2, which is free on Game Pass.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
Thank God.
Is it bad?
It's awful.
I never played the original Surgeon Simulator.
So I played the first one in VR, where it's meant to be played.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the track, because I played it on the PSVR, so my first VR experience. The tracking was not great. It's goofy, fun, dumb humor, which I appreciate. This one, trying to play it with a controller, man, it is rough. Like, it is unbelievably hard to do like the most meaningless tasks, like pick up the scalpel, but the tracking doesn't work that good as you're doing with the controller, because like you can't extend your arm out further that easily.
Right.
You have to like hold down left trigger, use right stick, and then press B.
That sounds like...
Yeah, it's super complicated to be doing with a controller.
I'm having heavy rain flashbacks.
It just sounds like, why bother?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that probably shouldn't have been ported unless they fix the controls. I'm going to actually play around with the control schematic to see if I can't fix some of this. But damn, it's not easy at all. And it's just frustrating because with these like really terrible controls, like if you accidentally like nick the patient and they start bleeding faster, and then you're like, oh my God, I have to drop the scalpel and then pick up the thing to like stop the bleeding. Oh, I'm having trouble grabbing it and grabbing it and grabbing it. Oh, they bled out. Darn. Let me start again. Do it again. And I'm like, oh my God. But just some of the dumb humor in this game, like the first mission, you have to do a leg transplant on a guy. And you can just like legitimately walk up and like tear his leg off. Like
what?
no scalpel or saw needed, just tear it off and throw it in the waste bin. I'm like, that's really bizarre, but it's fun. Or removing people's ribs with a hammer. I know that the game has a huge following in VR because of some of the dumb things you can do in it. So I've been thoroughly, I want to say enjoying it, but until the controls get fixed, that's really hard.
Yeah, I think you sold me on avoiding this one like the plague.
Yeah. I'll get back to you on it because I'm not done with it yet. So, but other than that, I'm still plugging away on Binding of Isaac. I'm inching ever closer to that final ending.
How have you not done everything yet?
The final ending is hard because you have to beat greed mode like 6 times, which is not easy in itself. And then it unlocks greedier mode, which is double the difficulty. And then you have to beat that like 6 times. Yeah. And the problem is with greed and greedier mode is it's random. So you may get really bad items.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's all about random. You get what you get, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but still loving it, man. I'm really surprised that I'm still playing a roguelike.
I'm surprised as well. I'm really shocked. I've been telling you, but hey. Anyway.
Hey, man, I love Dead Cells. I kind of want to go back to that instead. But
they've done some updates in that game. That'd be fun to go back and revisit. See if I forgot how to play at this point, man. I was running through that game like almost speed running, even though it was, procedurally generated stuff. I still felt like you just kind of knew the pattern of the movements of everything, right? It'd be like starting all over now, but
muscle memory, man.
Muscle memory.
That poor game is forever linked to my mind to the IGN plagiarism situation.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
that's what they got busted for.
Didn't he get interviewed by Colin Moriarty recently?
He did.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah. It's I mean, he makes a case for himself, but it's rather poor.
Oh, really?
But unbelievably that the plagiarists are trying to make a comeback with like a YouTube channel.
Oh, geez.
But if you want to hear, someone who staunchly loves IGN like Colin Moriarty really go at a young kid who blew the biggest job opportunity of most games writers' careers, it's a fun listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let them have it.
I kind of want to hear it a little bit. Anyway, Zach, what about you? What you been playing?
I could not be stopped. I immediately jumped into No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle on the Switch right after completing No More Heroes last week, and I've already beaten this one again.
Wow.
Dude, these games are incredible. I feel like I'm missing part of my life has been found. They're just so great. The second one is not as good as the first one. I think part of that is they like try to repeat almost the exact same structure, which maybe worked if you had a few years in between games, but when you're doing it back to back, it's just like loses a little bit of the luster. But it has a couple more playable characters. With Shinobu, who is a lot of fun because she uses like a regular katana, not a beam katana. So it's kind of fun slicing up bullets with her.
Yeah, is that the one you sent me a picture of?
No, I sent you a picture of Sylvia, who is Travis's romantic interest.
Yeah, she's like riding a lightsaber in this picture you sent me. It's like, how can I not like this game? That's
what I'm saying, man. Game of the decade with that picture. But honestly, No More Heroes 2, yeah, it is fun. The wackiness works a little bit less just because the plot is trying, it doesn't hit the tone as well. But it does have like a weirdly good love story, actually. Like a rather intimate, like two flawed humans kind of finding each other sort of thing, which I was not expecting at all.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, man, it was great. So such a fun ride. You can have dual beam katanas in this one. But it's got more fun assassins, a couple who come back from the first game. But man, it's just so much fun playing as Travis Touchdown. Robin Atkin Downs as Travis Touchdown is like one of the best like voice actors to characters. It's nuts. He's just so good. He's obviously having the time of his life being Travis Touchdown.
Yeah.
And it comes through in every single scene.
Remind me of what's the gameplay like in these?
It's a very simple character action game like a Devil May Cry. Like you have either, so it's a melee combat game, but you have either like high or low strikes, and there's like a combo attached to each one, but you can't really like intermingle them. So it's very simple because originally you were playing it on the Wiimote, so you can't get too crazy.
Right.
And then you have to like end. I was playing on the Pro Controller, and then you like end every combo by flicking the right stick in a direction, and you'll do a finishing move where you like cut a dude's head off or cut him in half or whatever. And it's just a lot of bloody, dumb fun. And, it's pretty easy, but all the boss fights are where it really comes to life because, you have to like engage in certain ways, whether it's, a boss who's split into two parts. One's ranged, and then like his twin brother, is like melee. So you have to like try to balance them both, or, maybe you're fighting a guy who's essentially just Batman. So he's like hiding in the shadows. It's every boss fight is unique and interesting. Highly recommend. There's a spin-off that happens in between 2 and 3, Travis Strikes Again, which is supposed to be like a retro game where Travis goes through different game worlds. Like he just goes straight up to Hotline Miami and goes and does a team-up level with Garcia Hotspur.
No way.
From Shadows of the Damned.
No way.
So I desperately need to play this game. So
surprisingly, I own it. I forgot about that one.
Travis Strikes Again?
Yeah.
I'm looking for physical copies are not cheap. I'll tell you that.
Really?
So I'm trying to find one.
I think I picked it up at GameStop for like $15.
It seems like one of those things where they probably produce a low amount of copies and people who wanted it bought it and they just cleared them out, and now it's like tough to find. But I really want one, but I'm trying to give myself, obviously it's September, so it's gonna be hard to squeeze in this one. But I kind of want
so much out, man.
It's insane. So it's gonna be tough to get to Travis Strikes Again. But I'm actually kind of happy about it because I kind of don't want to burn through them, especially with 7 years passes for the characters in between 2 and Travis Strikes Again, and I think that's kind of cool because I like to see what happens to characters as time passes.
Interesting.
But I'll be checking back in with that one, boys. Let me tell you, someday soon.
Sounds like it, man. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right into the week's news. What do you guys say?
Sure.
Let's do it, man.
First off, some new trailers to talk about. We've got a game called Turbo Overkill coming to PC, Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox in 2022. A game, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Skabma Snowfall is coming to Steam in Q1 of 2022, and it'll be coming to consoles later on after that. A game called Subdivision Infinity DX hitting PS5 September 22nd. And Zach was going to yell at me if I didn't put this one on here. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. It's not announced for what platforms that is, but that is the new... you're going to have to remind me of his name. Yoko Taro.
Yeah.
Yoko Taro game. So he's obviously very excited about that. Also, both Epic and Apple and Epic apparently lost in court this week, so I got some interesting things about that. And Platinum Games definitely wants things to happen for Star Fox Zero and Bayonetta 3, which I thought was interesting in the news. CB, let's start with you. You've been gone for quite a while. Where would you like to start? What intrigues you from these news stories?
Oh, well, I definitely want to talk about Apple and Epic.
Apple and Epic? Boy, if we did episode titles, that'd be a great title for this week. Apple and Epic.
I'm kind of glad that this is finally winding down. I mean, granted, yes, Apple got their hands slapped for like, yes, what you're doing is kind of not cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they're allowing people to put links to pay things outside of the Apple Store. So that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that kind of amazes me is the balls on Epic. Like, good God. Yeah, Fortnite is not just a game. And I'm like, so you're saying Fortnite is like a way of life?
Well, their argument...
It's a metaverse, bro.
It's a metaverse. Their argument, and I'm not saying that I buy it because obviously the judge didn't, but their argument is that because it's like they're trying to sell it as almost like a social media platform because you can go on there. Remember when they did like the Marshmallow concert? And there was a rapper that they had in there too that you could just all like hang out with your friends and watch this digital concert. So they're trying to say that Fortnite is much more than just a video game and it transcends video games and is a full experience.
It's a profoundly out of touch MLK tribute game sometimes too.
What?
You didn't? Oh, you didn't? There's an event in Fortnite where you can like relive the Martin Luther King March on Washington.
I did not know that.
It's a real thing. It's really disturbing. Like, it's just so woefully out of touch. Like, I'm sure they were like, tribute to MLK, but really it's like kids emoting, on the podium during the I Have a Dream speech. It's just a complete disaster.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, man.
But here's my thing, though. Like, dude, it's a game. All because you do things inside the game doesn't change the fact that it's a game. Like, Get over yourselves. I'm sorry. And then this, like, piss poor fine that they have to pay. Like, Epic's like, here, have some pennies. $3.5 million to Epic is nothing.
If the penalty for a crime is a fine, it's only a crime for the poor.
Yes.
Ooh.
But I do like the fact that the judge also said, Apple is not a monopoly. Success is not illegal. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's not wrong.
This judge,
Apple's not the only company out there.
This judge is on fire, man.
Like I said, I'm just wowed by some of the things that have come out of this. Granted, I'm really curious to see going forward what Apple's going to do with some companies. Just like, hey, we want to put a link to our store, and they're like, we're just not going to allow you on our platform. I have a feeling that's what it's going to boil down to.
Like, if they want to do that, then sorry, you don't qualify.
Yeah, I mean,
to be on the Apple platform.
Apple has to put you on there,
right?
I mean, they make more money than they know what to do with at the moment. So
what is Apple? Because they both lost, right?
I mean, it's the best possible outcome for everybody.
Yeah,
for us, both companies lose money. Apple has to change its policy. Epic doesn't get this weird court win. Like, for the people, this is a total win.
Right. I agree. I'm trying to understand because obviously Epic was in breach of contract. Whether or not, what Apple was doing was right, they were still under contract at that point. So that's why they're paying the fine. But the judge is also saying that Apple now has to allow other alternative pay methods that don't go through Apple, right?
Yes.
So that's what we mean by when we say they both lost.
Yeah, basically they have to do that, but again, because they determine what is on and not on their platform, it doesn't really affect them at all.
Lose?
No, not at all.
Because if they're not going to make money off of it, why are they going to want it to be on their service?
Exactly.
Is the way they're going to look at it. And they're like, we're big enough that we can turn away stuff like that.
I think you'll find that most people are happy to pay for convenience. So you should just let the alternative payment methods there, because I know I'm more likely to just pay through the App Store because it's quicker and easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't use Apple products.
Well, fair enough. But okay, I mean, look at it from your perspective. If you're on Google and you can go through the Google Play Store or go through, third-party alternative pay method, are you just going to do what's easier, or are you going to go through the extra hoops to pay a different way?
Well, I mean, I have a Google phone, so it just does it all through Google.
Well, right.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Apple does it through Apple. It's the same thing on our phones that you're doing with Google.
Even if you're buying something through another person's store, like Google pays them, but you're paying Google. So everything is just routed through Google. Like, I don't have to click a link, go to someone else.
Well, that's what we're saying. That's the way it's been with Apple all along. But Apple wouldn't allow you to do it another way. So the only way you could do it was to pay Apple, and then Apple would give whatever party their cut, right? Yeah. And then there was no other option. With Google, you can actually you can pay other ways. And the fact that you don't even know that there are other ways goes to show just how much it doesn't really matter almost, right?
I mean, the only ones that I know that I use other ways is like PayPal and eBay.
Right,
because,
but do you use that when you're using an app, a Google app?
Well, I don't really download apps that cost me money. So I've never really run into that situation.
Fair enough. But like, think if you're playing, like your son plays Fortnite and they always want to purchase those V-Bucks, right? So if you were going to purchase V-Bucks, let's assume your son was playing Fortnite on your Google phone or on his Google phone. Let's assume he had one and he wanted to purchase V-Bucks. You would just buy it through the Google. You would purchase it through by way of Google, and then Epic would get their cut, right?
Yeah.
What Epic was trying to do is they were offering alternate payment ways for you to be able to pay and buy those V-Bucks.
No, I get what they're trying to do. It's just I can't really speak from experience because I've never had to deal with it.
Right? Yeah, I don't.
I mean, if they made it easy to do, I wouldn't care. I mean, I think
that's Zach's point, is that it's easier just to go through the method that it's designed, right? It's easier. It's a convenience thing just to go through Google or to go through Apple, because we don't really care. We're paying the same amount of money, right? We don't care if we're which way it gets distributed, unless you're just like a hardcore Apple loyalist or a hardcore Google loyalist, which they don't need. I don't know.
Yeah, and I will say I understand what Epic was trying to do. Like, hey, like this is our stuff. Why are we paying you money for our stuff?
But I also see Apple's point of view. We're providing a service for you to put your thing on. That's like when someone makes a game for Xbox or PlayStation, Xbox and PlayStation get a cut of that, right?
That actually does make an interesting point, because with Apple, not with Apple, but with Xbox and PlayStation, like everybody buys everything through the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store.
Right.
Would something like this translate across to them?
That's what we've been talking about when this whole thing started, is that this could potentially be a game changer for the online marketplace for everything in the future. Consoles, phones, PC, everything could really just be upended. And I don't know, after this though, it feels like does it feel like it's fizzling out a little bit to you, Zach? Like it's, we're talking about it obviously, but it just feels like it's done.
Yeah, man. I think it went on too long for people to pay attention.
Well, yeah. I mean, look what happened with Activision, right?
I mean, it's just gamers, especially gamers, are quicker to forget than any other community. It feels like. I don't know if that's just because we're more ingrained or what, but it feels like gamers are just immediately forgive for the next potential, hit of their own endorphin rush.
Yeah, so pretty much.
So actually caring about this for this long seems impossible for most. I mean, I feel like it's so underreported on the major game sites.
Yeah.
Underreported or overreported?
Underreported.
Yeah, I feel like I think the article that I linked on our format actually wasn't even a video game journalist site. It wasn't a video game publication. I believe it was like CNBC or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was, it was just like a regular news outlet that was not specifically catering to fans of video games. That's where I had to get my facts from for this, which is
saying. So it definitely fizzled out.
Mm-hmm. It was like a hot. It's like news stories are a big deal for about a week in our universe, and then we just moved on to something else.
Once you get outside of that news cycle that you're in, things tend to get forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Which is sad, especially nobody's talking about Activision anymore.
Yeah, man. And they're so they just like taking their name off of all the trailers and stuff. Like they're basically admitting their guilt. No one cares.
Yep.
It's very strange.
It's very, very strange. I mean, I see a couple people here and there on Twitter, but more people are complaining about boat animations in God of War than Activision.
Oh my god, what a headache.
Crazy. Anyway, Zach, I assume you're going to want to talk about Platinum.
Well, Platinum's exciting. I'm sure we'll get there. But guys, we got to talk about Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars.
Okay.
Okay, it's the full Yoko Taro crew. It is so Yoko Taro's creative director, Yosuke Saito, his producer, is on it, and Keiichi Okabe, who's the composer of Nier, which I know you're now a fan of, Scott.
Yes, I do. I did listen to that soundtrack a few times.
And then Kimihiko Fujisaka, who is the concept artist of the Drakengard series, as well as the original Nier back in 2010, is doing the art for the cards. This is pretty exciting. What's most exciting to me is honestly that Yoko Taro clarified that this is like a card RPG, but he was hesitant to call it like a card battling RPG. So like I have no idea what I'm getting in for with this game, but it's exciting because he confirmed it will not be a social game. So it'll not be like, a phone game trying to get your dollars. Like it's supposed to be like a premium RPG experience, which is I feel like especially with cards, but like he calls them like Slay the Spire or something, and then it's not connected to the Draconeer universe at all, and that's kind of refreshing.
Really? Why is that? Because it's just something fresh and new, and you're not like dipping back in the well. I thought you'd want it to be about there.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a Nier 3 eventually, but it's nice to see Yoko Taro flex creative muscles where he doesn't have to worry about like that continuity in that universe. Like he can just tell a story. That sounds pretty rad.
And obviously you're excited. I mean, Yoko Taro could make a Mario game, and I'm pretty sure you'd play it.
Oh man, could you imagine? You'd probably be playing as a Piranha Plant or something.
That would be pretty cool. So yeah, voice of cards.
Man, 2021's been a good year for Yoko Taro fans. Let me tell you.
I can see that. I want to talk about one of these trailers too before we get on to Platinum. There's this one that stood out to me. It's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Skabma Snowfall. This is a Steam game, and it's basically a third-person action-adventure game. It has some exploration and puzzles, but I want you guys, if you get a chance, to check out this trailer. It is a gorgeous-looking trailer. I will say the character models look a little DreamWorks animation to me, but the environments look absolutely stunning. It looks like a game that is just artistic enough that I kind of have to play this one. So if you get a chance, it's spelled Skamba, Snowfall, and there is like I don't know what you call the little accent mark over the A if you're having trouble Googling it, but I am very intrigued by this game. I got a press release on it, and it looks like something I need to play. I know it's coming to consoles later. I'll probably have to wait for consoles, but look for that one on Steam Q1 of next year. It looks, I don't know. I think I was talking to Zach today. Like I'm in the mood for a calm, relaxing game. I'm going to be playing a game for next week that was referred to as like a bubble bath for your brain or something. And this game seems up that alley of just a relaxing experience that you can just kind of soak up the art style. So take a look at that one when you get a chance. Okay, man. Platinum.
Sure, Platinum. They were asked in an interview about a state of a couple of their Nintendo projects, Star Fox Zero, being stranded to Wii U, where Atsushi Inaba responded with about bringing it to the Switch. Responded with, "It kind of depends on what's in the realm of actual possibility, but yeah, if the chance came up, it's definitely something we'd like to think about." The important thing to remember here is that because it's Nintendo's idea, the ideas are coming from Miyamoto-san himself. He said, We have to respect what Miyamoto-san wants to do. Now, this is especially interesting to me before we move on, it's because I just watched a documentary on YouTube about the making of Star Fox Zero, and Miyamoto did not have a good reputation on this project.
Really?
Because Platinum just thought they were getting in they just wanted to make another rail shooter Star Fox game. But Miyamoto, apparently, the reason you don't get a lot of Star Foxes is he insists every entry must be different. And then, so that's why they had to do the weird, like, camera control nonsense.
Yeah.
Because Miyamoto wouldn't let it go. Which is fascinating.
That is interesting. I feel like that gameplay would translate to the Switch great, though.
They'd have to redo the controls, from my understanding, pretty significantly.
Yeah.
But the game itself should be solid. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to play Star Fox Zero finally.
I would play it again. I mean, as a huge fan of Star Fox 64, it was a fun trip down memory lane that also had some fresh ideas going on with it. So
right, not as good as Dinosaur Planet, obviously, but up there.
Is with the like accelerometers on the Switch that they haven't done like a Switch game that you can legitimately like move around and track.
Like Zombie U that they did on the Wii, not the Wii, but the Wii U. Yeah. Like I thought that was going to be a big thing when the Wii U came out with Zombie U. I was like, this is going to be like a regular mechanic that we're going to see in many games in the future, and we never did.
Yeah, it was the active reload of the Wii U.
Then it got. Do you remember when that game got Zombie U got ported to Xbox?
Yeah, I still didn't play it.
Forgot.
Oh, I did play it.
It's there.
On
I think
PlayStation.
I played like the first couple missions, and I'm like, wow, this does not work.
There's some bug I remember that annoyed me so much I stopped playing it.
But I would play Star Fox Zero again. That was great fun.
Yeah, but I guess back on the because that's the last Wii U game that matters, right? That's not over.
I couldn't think of another like original Nintendo property on Wii U because we got Wind Waker. Well, that wasn't even a GameCube. That was a GameCube game, right?
Yeah. Oh, we did not get Wind Waker, but it was that's a GameCube game.
We got Wind Waker on Wii U.
Right.
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, you mean like the Zelda HDs? Yeah, I guess there's that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD.
Mm-hmm.
But as
Super Mario 3D World, we got Mario Kart 8. We got. What's left?
Just Star Fox Zero and the Devil's Third.
Yeah.
And no one cares about the Devil's Third.
Hey now.
Nobody. No, yeah.
I care.
Anyway, Hideki Kamiya, Twitter's own Hideki Kamiya, weighed in on Bayonetta 3 and said, ultimately, it's not our decision what to say and when to say it. There's no need to worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this time. At this time, everything's okay. It's up to Nintendo to decide when to release more info. That last part is fascinating to me. What the hell are they waiting for?
Well, to be clear, that last one, it's up to Nintendo to decide when to release more info, is not a quote from Kamiya. He didn't say that. That was me extrapolating from the article. That it's not up to it's not up to Platinum to release this information. It's all up to Nintendo. It's in their court, which is crazy.
Yeah, what are they waiting for?
The right time.
Well, for it to not be September, maybe? I don't know. I mean, seriously, like just from an email standpoint, my email inbox has been significantly diminished since last week. Are you finding that as well?
I mean, I feel like I'm still getting. I mean, yeah, not as much, but they're still coming.
Oh, they're still coming. It's just like it was an onslaught. Well, granted, my email was down for a day or two, and I came back and I had 100 emails, so I felt a little overwhelmed. So maybe that's why I'm feeling that way. But yeah, they're probably just waiting for the right moment. But when's a bad moment when it comes to releasing a sequel to a very popular franchise?
Yeah, and if not popular, at least beloved.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it may not be popular, but it's well known. Even people that don't like the game still are very aware of it.
What, it's such a fun Nintendo exclusive within their catalog, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just sexy witches does not conjure Nintendo to mind typically.
I agree.
I'm actually, like, I was just sitting here thinking about that, going through the Wii U, and it's been a while since we've seen an actual Star Fox game. I mean, granted, he's shown up in other things.
Well, yeah, Smash Brothers.
Well, I mean, there was like 2000. There was like a 10-year wait before for Star Fox Zero.
Star Fox 10 years.
Star Fox Command was on DS, released in 2006, and then Star Fox Zero didn't come out until like 2016 or something, right?
Has it been that long since the Wii U?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying
no. 2016. It released on the Wii U in 2016. Is what you're saying,
right?
It seems like the Wii U has been longer than, what is that, 5 years?
Oh, well, the Wii U itself came out 2012, right?
I don't remember. It felt longer.
It's 2012.
I don't think Nintendo remembers either.
Because the last games I remember were like Star Fox Guard and Star Fox Zero.
Right. Yeah, that was a little package, a little 2-in-1 package. I remember because I almost bought it because it was on clearance at Best Buy, even though I didn't have a Wii U.
I mean, we could have made a Wii U happen for you, man. I think there's one floating around between the 10 of us on this team.
I just feel that Nintendo doesn't care about anything other than like Mario
or Zelda.
Yeah, because it's been a while since even we've had some Donkey Kong love, man.
Oh man, could you? Oh no, we had Tropical Freeze,
which was a port, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right, it was a port, wasn't it? Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's been a while since we've had some Donkey Kong love too.
Mm-hmm. We're getting some Metroid love though.
not the game we wanted, but a game we're okay with.
I'll take it, man. The more I see those trailers, that game is starting to look really rad.
Like I said, it's not the game we originally wanted, but it's a game that we're okay with.
It's true. Well, I want to remind everybody before we move on of our Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show and maybe get some extra bonus goodies at the same time, be sure to head over to patreon.com/thegocast. We've got, CB, why don't you let everybody know? What do we have available right now and what's upcoming?
Our 12-minute spoiler cast is up currently, and upcoming, the long-awaited Scott's first Pokemon game.
Yes, I know we owed that episode back last month in August. We're going to do that episode and 2 more for the month of September, so we will make that one up to you.
Yep. We are finally doing a new Retro Outsider episode on Indiana Jones games.
Yes, Sean Coates has been texting me. He wants to do the Super Nintendo game that I don't think we knew existed until a couple weeks ago.
3.
There's 3. Well, he was talking about the Infernal Machine, which I believe is on 64.
That is on 64.
Yeah.
You have Temple of Doom, the 2 different Last Crusades.
We're not going to play all of them, man.
I know, but I'm saying like that's what you have. And then there's The Greatest Adventures on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's the one we learned about.
Fate of Atlantis, and that was PC, right?
I believe it's also on console.
And I played the LucasArts one that was based on The Last Crusade. I played that when I was a kid. I loved that game. That was great.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few.
So we'll definitely touch on all of them. I'm not going to say we're going to play all of them, but we're definitely going to play that Super Nintendo one and probably the 64 one as well. And then
we've also got my hot take on the what's going on with the possible fraud implications of the video game collector market.
Yes. And I think you were mentioning also on Twitter about doing a Retro Outsider on a particular game based on a particular children's film that I actually grew up loving.
Yes. I recently acquired a lot of Nintendo Famicom disc games, and one of them apparently is a game based on the adventures of Milo and Otis.
If you have not seen it, we need to watch the movie. I have it on DVD.
Oh, so do I.
We need to watch that movie and then play the game and just do a whole episode on it, because that would be hilarious. I played it a little bit already. Is it bad?
You're in for a treat,
Oh,
sir.
so this is going to be a games that aren't for us episode?
Oh, yes.
Oh boy. All right. We're going to have to record some of that gameplay and do something with that. So anyway, if any of those episodes or any of our past episodes sound exciting to you, you can head over to patreon.com/thegocast. $3 will get you 1 bonus episode per week, and $5 will get you 2. And any level will actually get you early access to our podcast a day earlier than everybody else. So be sure to check that out. Like I said, games that aren't for us, Retro Outsider, legacy episodes, anytime we do a spoiler cast, all those things will be exclusive to Patreon, and we hope that you guys do enjoy them. Let's go ahead now and jump into the newer games that are coming out this week and the ones we've been playing. Zach, you promised me this list was going to get shorter this week, and it did not.
No, I think it's overall less intimidating, but I guess you guys can be the judge of that.
All right.
Right at the top, we have Cruisin' Blast, the next entry in the venerable racing franchise, coming to Nintendo Switch September 14th. Big PlayStation exclusive, somehow being published by Microsoft.
Is that for real?
Yeah. They own Bethesda.
That's true. Oh, man, I forgot this is a Bethesda game.
Yeah, this is a 1 year exclusive to PlayStation game being released by Xbox. Deathloop. Coming to PS5, PS4, and PC September 14th. Isn't that crazy, though?
That is crazy.
That could be the final Bethesda game on PlayStation.
Yeah, no, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that that's still coming out.
Allegedly. Eastward is a indie RPG very much inspired by Earthbound, coming to Switch and PC September 14th. Skatebird is exactly as described. It is a skateboarding game, but you play as a little cute bird. That's going to Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 14th. Fire Commander is a tactics strategy game where you command a crew of firefighters putting out fires. Coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 15th. Cat Lateral Damage Re-Meowstered.
All right, meow.
I just love the way that you inflected that. Re-Meowstered.
is a first-person cat simulator where you're just causing havoc in your owner's home. That's going to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 15th.
What's the over-under on Alyssa playing that game?
I'm going to play it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Dustwind: The Last Resort looks like a pretty hardcore post-apocalyptic RPG coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 15th. Titan Chaser is a weird-looking game where you're like in first person exploring foggy towns to find mythical titans. That's coming to PS4, Xbox One September 15th. Metallic Child is a waifu shoot 'em up, it appeared to be, coming to Switch and PC September 16th. I Am Fish, which I have gotten about 900 emails about.
Seriously.
Is coming to, it's out of control. Coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 16th. The Amazing American Circus looks like a somewhat gnarly looking RPG where you're also like having to run a circus while you're combating like evil demons as circus members.
It's like a card battling game almost, but it's like you're not fighting anything. You're doing things to appease the audience. It's like a turn-based RPG where you're not fighting. It's just like you're doing things to keep the crowd happy. It's totally interesting.
Quite something different. That's going to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 16th. Project Winter, formerly a Xbox Game Pass exclusive, coming to PS4 and Switch September 16th. Tales of Iron, which is like a hardcore 2D brawler that looks gnarly as hell, like just brutal violence, is a game about mouses fighting the Frog Kingdom that has usurped them. Coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 17th. Nexomon, as the name would indicate, is a Pokemon off-brand version of Pokemon, the Kmart brand, if you will, and that's going to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One.
I don't know,
September
man.
17th. What's that?
CB got to play it and had a lot of
Koromon.
Really? Oh, is that Koromon?
Nexomon is the one that Nate has already reviewed.
Nexomon, yes, that's the one that Nate played. Okay, my bad.
Origami 2. Yeah, I think Nexomon. I think it was an early access or something.
Oh, it's already out on Switch.
Yeah,
this is full release. Anyway, Origami 2, the follow-up to the stealth action game from a few years ago, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC September 17th. Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, getting ported off of PlayStation and onto Nintendo Switch September 17th. In that game, you can play as the president who's stuck in a Studio Ghibli world, so that's weird. And he carries around a pistol. Toem is a bizarre-looking black and white adventure game, coming to PS5, Switch, and PC September 17th. And then Song of the Smoke is something that I assume would appeal to CB simply because it is coming to PSVR as well as different PC VR units September 18th. Guys, I guess I was wrong. Yeah, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anytime you mention Earthbound, my ears immediately perk up. So Eastward, I'm going to have my eye on. However, I know how long those kind of games take, and I just know I'll never finish it. So I'm hesitant to do anything but wait.
It's a shame. My brain is like, I can't start a game and then put it down. Like if I played Eastward for 10 hours and liked it, that wouldn't be enough for my brain. I would have to finish it.
No, I know.
That's a shame.
My problem is I just don't get in them because I don't want to have that guilt of giving up on the game.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Deathloop, I can't decide if I want to play it because the reviews seem so mixed. Like the critics for sites really like this game. There's been some perfect 10 out of 10s for this thing. And then I read some other reviews where they're like, it sounds like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
but in first person or whatever.
If we're talking about reviews, I find them fascinating because the big sites all seem to be giving 9s and 10s, and then like the more mid sites are giving like 6s.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder what what is the difference?
Well, and a 6 isn't like a terrible score. To me, a 6 or 7 is still a good game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm going to kind of wait to see what somebody here thinks about it. Or I know a good friend of mine is sold on it after reading some reviews and kind of wait. And
that's why I was sold on it until the characters started talking in the trailers.
Oh, really? Why?
I just find them very annoying.
Oh, okay. I'd be lying if Cruisin' Blast didn't tickle my fancy a little bit because man, those cruising games back in the day were great,
glorious.
Yeah.
I want to walk back and just specify, Deathloop in its original trailers looked like a very serious game, and so when the jokes started coming, when the characters started talking, it was a complete tonal shock for me.
So a little too much Borderlands for your taste?
Yeah, I would call it the Borderlands effect. But I want to check it out like on sale. If only it was on Game Pass. Wouldn't that be a thrill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that PlayStation Game Pass. CB, what about you?
I don't need it.
Well, Cat Lateral. I'll probably play that, but I also kind of want to play Titan Chaser.
Yeah?
It just looks different.
I like weird games, man. And chasing mythological creatures, deal. I'm in.
And if I weren't like overrun with information about it, I kind of thought I Am Fish looked kind of cute.
Yeah,
but I just feel like it's
Finding Nemo the game.
I think we're in an unfortunate position here because it really has been like I think like almost 2 years where I've gotten an email or two a week about this game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know what's left for me to learn about I Am Fish.
Right.
The fact that you're not actually a fish.
Whoa. As for me, Tales of Iron would be the game I'd absolutely be playing if we weren't in between huge releases.
Yeah.
I think it looks... Anytime you take, like, furry creatures and then make them all bloody and stuff, I'm in.
Well, that's what you were hoping for from... the name is escaping me.
Yeah. You said it, Biomutant. Well, then that Fist game that came out last week, you're playing as, like, the mechanized robot guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play that. And then... What a weird time it is for anthropomorphic murder games.
Can we like do this where like we all take a vacation, like a week of vacation at the same time, and we all just get away, and we just like rent a cabin or something, and we just set up TVs and do nothing but play video games and get caught up.
I wanted to do that over the summer, man.
I know. It just never happened.
Yeah, we need to do it in some sort of fashion where we're like in the woods with no cell phone signal, right? Like no temptation.
Yeah, until we get there, and then like half the games that we need to play need internet access.
Say, well, you got to download all the patches. Download all the patches first.
Yeah,
yeah.
And we just take our consoles and our TVs with us, and we just get a pantry full of unhealthy snacks and
beer. I want nothing but Doritos, beer, Mountain Dew, and frozen pizzas.
Oh, exactly. I'm sold. Let's do it.
I'm in.
I know it sounds like I'm joking. I'm really not. Can we?
I would do it. Are you kidding? I would do it, absolutely.
Like spring break or something.
Wouldn't it be an amazing annual trip for us, guys?
It would be, man. We should just do it over spring break every year.
Been saying this for years, man.
Where would we go? It's got to be somewhere that's like.
Dude, I got a place already, so it's not that bad.
I'm really, really digging this idea.
We'll go out to Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. It's a really nice place.
This is probably not great radio, so we could probably talk about this off the mic.
Let's go ahead and move on and talk about a game that I'm anxiously anticipating Zach's reaction because he's been talking about Tales of Arise for quite a while now. You're playing this on PS4, right?
Correct, yes.
So you're going to have to educate people like me that have never played a Tales game. Tales of Symphonia, Tales of... I can't even remember the names of them. I know nothing about this franchise, other than I was just told I had to play them back in the day.
I was messaging a friend who was an avid gamer who had never heard of the Tales franchise, which blew my mind.
Wow, yeah, I thought GameCube was like hugely prolific, I feel like.
Right. Well, I feel like Symphonia and Vesperia are like the breakout ones, right?
That's where I started hearing about it, yeah.
Yeah. But Tales of is I mean, I used this phrase earlier in the show, but it's like the off-brand Final Fantasy.
Okay.
So in less amount of time, Tales has gotten to this being its 17th mainline release.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so they knocked these suckers out for a while there. They would have a new Tales game out every 18 to 24 months, which when you think about the size of a JRPG is insane. With like the same composer and stuff. Like, how are they knocking them out this fast? So to me, the franchise, with the occasional exception of like a Symphony or Vesperia, it always felt like fast food JRPGs, right? Like this, you know, this quick meal that's probably not going to, it's definitely not going to last with you, but you can get in and experience the tropes if you want to get out. And every now and then you'll have a good one, but you know, usually you're just going to get a whopper, right?
Okay, so do the stories not interconnect like Final Fantasy doesn't, where each one is its own thing?
Yeah, well, it is much like Final Fantasy in that regard. Like every different, you know, one is not connected. Mostly, there is the occasional exception where like there's a Xillia and Xillia 2, which was a direct sequel, and then I know Berseria is like a closet prequel to one of the other ones, but that didn't really matter. So yeah, they're mostly disconnected in their own universe, etc.
Okay, but what's this? Oh, go ahead.
But what their big standout thing was that it had a real time action combat when you like hit your random encounter or whatever. It would be a real time game, and it would play on like a 2D plane, almost like a fighting game.
Okay.
And that
I
was
remember
kind of
that from
big.
when I was trying to decide whether or not to get into Tales of Symphonia when I was a kid. I was like, oh, it's like Final Fantasy, but you actually control the character instead of select commands.
Yes, which means you're not really, you know, controlling your whole party.
Right.
But you could always play as all of the party members. You just couldn't, you know, you would just have to pick who you were going to play as beforehand. That's all.
Gotcha. So what's the story in this one?
Tales of Arise is significant in that this is a big engine overhaul. It's been 5 years since the last Tales game. And I mean, I think you can just tell by the screenshots, you know, the new engine they built off the bones of Unreal Engine 4. Like, this game looks stunning.
Okay.
It looks like an anime come to life, you know, which is what they are going for. I think it looks absolutely amazing. And it's got like bigger production values and stuff. But the general premise is you're playing as this character who is a slave, Alphen as he's known in all the promo materials, and he's like trapped in this iron mask, and he has amnesia, of course, because it wouldn't be a JRPG otherwise.
Right.
However, I like it because they don't. He kind of just like, it's just like acknowledge, like it's just, I don't know. I feel like the amnesia is usually like the character's almost like whiny about it, or like, who was I? And he just like kind of doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit refreshing in that way. But he's a slave, a member of this race called the Danans, and they're enslaved by these people called the Renans, which I gotta tell you, startling revelation of the opening cutscene. They're Renans coming from a different planet. They're like alien invaders.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
Don't expect that in like a fantasy setting.
I know, but I mean, and they look humanoid, right? They're not like jarring to look at, but they came and conquered this planet, which is, yeah, you're right. And that's very atypical for this genre, especially. Mm-hmm. But you're playing as a slave. He's trapped in an iron mask, and he doesn't know why. Like, he has to like eat through like poking the food up through the bottom of his mask and stuff. It's a fun little hook for a character. And he ends up escaping the slave camp, meeting up with this girl who whenever somebody touches her, she just like conducts electricity and they die. So it's a little bit like the Rogue thing where nobody can touch her.
Yeah.
But what a coinkydink, because Alphen, our main character, can't feel pain.
Hey, we should get these two kids together.
Yeah. Oof. If only there was some light romance brewing throughout.
Right.
Yeah. What a startling revelation that would be. So it is like somewhat standard JRPG fare, right? You're teaming up with a band of rebels, But what I think differentiates it story-wise so far is that it is moving at one hell of a clip. Like, you're out of that starting slave village in less than 30 minutes. You've defeated the first of the 5 lords in 4 hours. Like,
that's impressive.
Especially for a very traditional JRPG like this, which usually has the anime problem of taking way too long to get the hell to the point.
Especially with filler and, just goofy dialogue stuff.
This thing's moving. It was almost like it was moving so fast where I'm like, oh, like you don't have like any kind of like major twist that sets you back, and you have to like collect, oh man, we almost beat the lord, but now we have to go collect these 3 pieces of a sword that feels like it would normally happen. Like it just takes care of business.
Nice. That's refreshing.
Very much so. And the plot hasn't like been super exciting so far, like the overall plot, but the characters are really good, and they have these little optional scenes you can watch in it, like a bunch called by pressing the R1 button, and they're little like skits, and those play out as like voice comic book panels, which is a lot of fun for a guy like me. And but it has like these cute little like almost like very down to earth character moments where they just talk about like their favorite foods or whatever that you can watch. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to, but it just adds a lot of depth to the characters. That's been fun.
Very cool. You enjoying the gameplay too? Like, I've been looking at some of the battles. It looks very like dodge and roll.
Yeah, it does look that way. You're right. The dodging is not as essential. It's not like a character action game or anything, right? It's not like your Bayonetta out there. But if you can dodge, you take you don't take damage. You do a little slow mo follow up. But the combat itself is incredible. It's so much fun. It like when I booted up the demo a little bit last week, and I found the combat just incredibly overwhelming because there's just so much going on. But the game itself, so if you have played the demo, you feel overwhelmed like that, just know that the game itself is almost genius in the way it slowly introduces mechanics.
That's what I want to hear.
Yes, it is remarkably paced. So by the time you get to that first major boss fight 4 or 5 hours in, you almost feel like a composer, like conducting this symphony of death. It is great because
another game you described that way.
Yeah, I like this. It's going to be a Zackism.
It's
just great to do. You feel like you earned every victory almost. Like it's just a lot of fun, and you can set up your party members to do, like, hey, if I'm less than 20% health, heal me, kind of stuff like that to help you a little bit more, which is always nice. And you can play as anybody. But Alphen has been who I'm maining, and he's fun because you do like an upper. You can do like launch people in the air, which like I just didn't expect in a JRPG, and do a little bit of juggling attacks with him, which is fun. And you can do like team up attacks with your party members when a certain gauge fills. It's just there's so much going on in the combat. But
now, do you have to keep rotating characters? You said you mained one particular character. Like in order to keep like experience up, or does everyone just get the same experience? Or
that's a great question. I haven't had more party members that I'm allowed in a fight yet.
Okay,
so I don't know yet. I know there's only 6 party members total. So I don't know if that's how that fares for you. But the leveling up system's pretty simple so far. You unlock these like it's almost sphere griddy, I guess. Or like the Final Fantasy 13 Crystarium, which means
I was just gonna ask that. No joke.
Okay, I would say it's a little bit like it's like not as complex as the Sphere Grid, but not as simple as a Crystarium.
Okay,
so it's almost like in between, but it is that sort of like you can unlock these 3 connective nodes or whatever.
Well, the last question I'll ask you is: I was talking to Sean Fuller, listener of our show, and he said. Of the Horribly Awkward podcast, by the way. He said that since I loved Final Fantasy 15 so much that he thought that I would enjoy this game as well. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I can see how he got there.
Okay.
Especially, did you like the combat in 15?
I love the combat in 15.
Yeah, I would say it's not dissimilar.
Okay.
Yeah, it is the rare JRPG where because you could see all the enemies on the maps, because I feel like random encounters are probably just a thing of the past at this point in our lives. But I'm engaging in every fight because I just want to.
It's just that much fun.
It is that much fun, and you're unlocking new abilities and stuff at a good clip. It's just so much fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
So it sounds like you highly recommend this game.
If you like Japanese role-playing games, I've been making the comparison. It feels very much like a PS1 or PS2 JRPG. Like it feels like I'm like wrapping myself in a comfortably warm blanket. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like it almost makes you feel like a kid again somehow. But does it in a smart, modern way, right? Because it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's got this fun modern combat, and it actually has really good voice acting, like Ray Chase. I don't know if you're Noctis from FF15, Scott, voices the lead here.
Oh, there you go.
And he is, he's great as always. It's just, if you like this kind of game, high recommendation. I'm only like 5 hours in or so far, but I'm thoroughly impressed. And I like how I say only 5 hours because, that is a good chunk of most games. But for this kind of game, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. I just know that it'll be a while before I get to it. Just because
definitely
it's such a long game.
Doesn't seem like it's going to be a short game.
Yeah, I love that box quote, by the way. Wraps you up in a warm blanket like a PS1 game.
It does, yeah. I just have such nostalgia for that era especially that era of Squaresoft. It takes me back there.
Cool. Let's go ahead and move on.
All right. So I have a question because apparently you've both been playing this. You're playing a game called World Flipper. Yes, I did watch the trailer.
No, I was going to ask Zach if he actually did check it out. I couldn't. I did, yeah. Talked to him. Oh, okay, cool.
So I need to ask you why apparently I need another pinball game in my life.
Well, would you like a waifu pinball?
I have one of those already.
Oh, I need more details off
we'll
air.
We'll talk off air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched the trailer for this and I'm like, So first off, I'm not as big on cell phone games, and I will say this does look a little entertaining. So pitch me here. Like, why do I need apparently to not only but buy a iPhone to play this, but
it's only on iOS. It's not on Google.
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Oh, okay.
He's only trusting your format, Scott. That's all.
Oh, I just usually put on the format what platform you played it on. I didn't put it on everything that's available.
I'm sure it's on Android.
I can't imagine it's not on Android, but I had to check the press release. But the reason I was attracted to this was obviously because of the pinball love. But getting into this game, it's the core mechanic is pinball based, but it is loosely pinball. I mean, you're not chasing after.
Thank the Lord you said that. I'm sorry. It's just. I know how much you love pinball, and you were telling me to check this game out. I was wondering I was doing something wrong because it's not.
No, it's very simplistic. Like in the gameplay, you literally can play the whole game with one finger. Like it's not like you don't even have to have like a finger on the right and the finger on the left. It's just one button presses both flippers. It's that simple. But it plays a lot more like a JRPG than I expected in terms of its storytelling. So basically, you get little cutscenes with dialogue that you read, and then you come across a battle, and instead of doing like a traditional JRPG battle, you're taken to a pinball board where your characters are the pinballs, and you go around the room smashing enemies, and you build up a power meter that lets you unleash a special attack, and it's just very satisfying, but it's not... You're not racking up high scores. You're not unlocking lanes. There's no drains. It's each of your characters or your pinballs, if you will, have an HP gauge, and you're taking down enemies that have their own HP gauge, and it's strategically finding places to hit them in their weak spots. I think they call them soft spots in this game. So, but you've got this cool little dash ability. So when the ball is in the air, you can press the button and it will automatically dash the ball towards an enemy. So it becomes a strategy when a boss wants to do a special move. You have to get the ball near it so that you can do a dash towards that soft spot to keep him from doing his special attack, which will
much like Sonic the Hedgehog.
There you go. Good way to say it. But the reason I was trying to get Zach to play this is I was not expecting a somewhat decent story. And I'm really curious to see what you think about it, because it starts out really silly, but then you start getting characters, and I want to see what you thought.
Yeah, I'm almost it's almost weird because I'm like, why is all this story here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of story. I mean, they even incorporate like the flippers into the storyline. Like the world flipper is it's a capital noun, important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the story is like fun. Yeah, it's hard to super invest in, but it's nice that it's there. Honestly, my problems are more with the pinball itself, because for one thing, like that, it's weird because I'm not a big pinball guy, but I almost wish it was a little bit more hardcore about its pinball, because I don't like the homing attack.
All right.
I think I think the game would be more interesting without it, because then you would have to be worried about your angles and stuff more.
Yeah, it'd be impossible to hit the top of some of those bosses without it. I'm
sure it would be. You're right, and it's just not the game they made, right? But
right.
I was saying, for me, I feel like I wanted more pinball, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would actually hate it, but it does, like the fact that it shows you your arc of where your ball will go. I really hate that.
Oh, you hate that?
Like, it really, really annoys me. I tried looking in the menu, and you can't turn it off.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be something that they give you at the beginning, like they did on Peggle, and then eventually it goes away. And I'm 3 worlds into this game. Yes, there are worlds that you go through, and it's still there. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I kind of wish it would turn that off.
Yeah, and maybe that would make me feel better about the homing attack, because combined with it aiming, like always having your aim down for you, it's just kind of like, it doesn't really feel like I'm playing it.
It feels too easy, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does feel too easy.
And I will tell you, 3 worlds in, it still feels easy.
Because then you also have your special attacks where, like, your main character will do like a huge spinning attack and it'll kill most of the board anyway. So it's just, it just feels a little bit too easy, a little bit like it's playing itself. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's such a great concept, combining pinball with a JRPG kind of thing. That, like, I almost wish it leaned harder on the pinball. It kind of reminds me of, do you remember like that Heroes of Might and Magic game they did on XBLA, where it was
grid-based?
Yeah, but it was like a puzzle game, right? But they took the puzzles very seriously, even though it was also telling this like JRPG kind of story.
Right.
And I almost wish it was a little bit more like that.
Yeah, this definitely has a Japanese flair to it. The one thing I do like with the storytelling, and this is something I almost wish was in more dialogue-heavy games, where all of the text dialogue is scrollable. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I do like that a lot. You're right. That's great.
Like so instead of it, like you press a button and it just disappears and then the next person speaks, you have the entire line of dialogue stacking as it goes, and you can scroll back and go back and reread dialogue if you missed it. Which, why is that like a brand new thing that's never been done before? If it's been in a game before, I've never seen it.
It's a good format for a phone story.
Yeah. I
also like the presentation a lot, where it has like the hand-drawn character portraits, but then the game itself is pixelated sprites.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun combination. Really into that.
And I like that it's not, there's some dialogue is like all voice acted, but then they'll do the thing where like a character will just say something in Japanese, like hi or nani or whatever. And then the character art will like change his expression or her expression to like whatever emotion they're feeling, which is, I don't know. I just found it kind of delightful in that.
Yeah, good presentation for sure.
And I am kind of digging the story. Like, I don't know how far you got, but like each world is like a completely different aesthetic. Like, there's a desert.
Oh, okay.
area.
I am only on World 1, I will admit that.
Okay. I just finished one that was the world was completely covered in water. So it's like Water World, more or less.
Okay.
But you appear like on the deck of a pirate ship, and then you have to deal with these pirates, and it's just kind of silly fun. But then the dialogue between the characters is charming.
Yeah, I was about to use the overused word on this show, but yeah, it is quite charming.
Yeah. So I'm digging it.
There's something great about, your main character really wants to go on an adventure, and his little sidekick gal is like, no way, but he convinces her, and then they immediately get lost.
Yep.
I thought that was really funny.
It's pretty good. Last thing I will say about it is there's also a multiplayer component, which is not part of the like career mode or the story mode, but you can go back and refight bosses like at a harder level of difficulty, so that but you can team up with somebody else and gain more experience and everything like that. Now I haven't done the multiplayer yet because I haven't found anybody else. I did multiplayer with randoms, but I haven't played multiplayer with somebody, and I wanted to kind of do that and just see how it plays any different. But I wanted to ask you because I pre-ordered the game or pre-installed it, so I got a whole bunch of currency, and I just feel like I'm literally never going to run out to the point where I need to repurchase anything, or I'm never going to have to spend any real money. I assume you didn't pre-install it like I did, so how is your currency level?
It's not bad, but it's not great.
Okay.
Yeah, I certainly didn't get a huge influx of cash or anything. Like, I've had enough for a summon or two, but yeah. Sounds like we have very different currency experiences, that's for sure.
Yeah, I almost want to take a screenshot and show yours and show mine to see how much more I actually have. But I said one more thing, but there is one more thing I want to say. I don't know did you get into any of the elementals at all, where like where you'll fight a certain boss and it'll say like it's weak to this particular element, like electricity or fire or anything like that. And then you can actually go into your stats, and rather than manually change everything to whatever, you could just press a button and say, change it all for me to optimize to fight against this element. And then
that's nice.
That's nice, yeah. And then there's a skill tree that I have no idea what I'm doing because I pick something and then just say buy it, and then I don't even see what it actually does. So I don't know, but
okay. I did check; it is on Android as well.
All right, so you can not download it and play it.
I may no, I can. Yeah, more than likely I'm probably not. But you know what? Just for you, Scott, I think I will.
Yeah, there is a game on PS4 that we have, Zach. That Rollers of the Realm. That is like. It's another attempt at like an RPG with pinball. That's actually a much more pinball-esque experience where like, you're trying to get up to the next level, like to get to the boss kind of situation.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a more traditional pinball experience, maybe check that one out. I think it's like $15 or something. And they actually re-released it with extra stuff recently. I got a press release on that one too, so. All right, that is World Flipper. I'm having fun with it, but it's one of those that, if you're not into pinball, it's probably going to be just an okay game for you. But I think the story is interesting enough, and the characters are I love the dialogue. I really do enjoy the dialogue, and I haven't been able to put it down. I've almost got halfway through the game and still haven't spent a cent. So, World Flipper, iOS and Google. All right, let's go ahead and talk about social media. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We got new members over there: Taylor Noble, TJ Compton, Josh Compton, and Wes Molbash. Welcome to the community over there. Hope you're enjoying the people over there. Also, we have our Discord. There's a link to that in our server if you'd like to join in the conversation and maybe meet us up for some games sometimes. That's a great place to go. And also, wherever you're listening to our podcast, if you could drop us a review, it helps us get the word out, get into more people's ears. And lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com if you'd like to check out our written reviews or any of our podcasts if you would prefer to listen to them that way. Also, an occasional editorial that I have done 0 of this year, but Zach has done quite a few. So be sure to check out thegamingoutsider.com. Let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. We took a different path for this week's From the Outside In topic. Since so much was announced at this week's PlayStation experience, we decided to talk about it in full depth. We asked you, the Gaming Outsider community, what stood out to you the most, what you wished you had seen, and how you're feeling about Sony now compared to Xbox after the slew of announcement that was on there. We had listener comments from Facebook, Discord, and Twitter, but we're going to kind of recap everything here. Boy, lots of comments. Who wants to start? Zach, CB, anybody?
All right, so right at the top, before we even start, I wanted to start with a comment here from Silly Willy, who says, I'm tired of CGI trailers. Yeah, cool, you made a CGI short that tells me nothing, and your cutscenes probably won't even look that good. Basically gets you excited for a product they have no information on. And David Newman followed up a little bit and said, yeah, Marvel's Midnight Sun is a great example. Wonder how many people got hyped not realizing it's a turn-based tactical combat style.
I'm raising my hand. I watched that and it said for access, and I was like, oh.
I think the CGI trailers this year are really starting to annoy me.
Yeah, all around.
I think. I don't know what it is, but something feels worse about it. Maybe it's the COVID thing, right?
Yeah,
they're not feeling confident to show their stuff. But then just wait. I don't care.
It's getting pretty sad that the only trailers you get to see gameplay are remasters because we all know what that game already looks like.
Well, it's funny because we'll talk in a second. Sometimes you'll get a remaster and not get any footage anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah. What I find especially annoying about CGI trailers is this trend of you like a game we already know in development, and then they put out a teaser trailer in CGI. I'm like, great, you told me the exact same information I already knew.
Yeah, I feel like
I've learned.
Jump right into it.
I mean, for great example, Knights of the Old Republic is getting the remake, but we already knew that, and we already knew it was coming from Aspyr, who has been knocking out Star Wars remakes or ports rather. It's like left and right. And so they're kind of like the arbiters of Star Wars legends in general. But yeah, it was just like it's just like CGI cutscene of Revan walking towards the screen. I was like, cool. I know exactly as much as I knew before.
That's about how much we got off of that weird that trailer for that game that was like big controversy. Like, was it oh my god, I cannot think of his name. Kojima. Was it Kojima or not? Remember that trailer we got? It was just a dude walking down a hallway.
Oh, Abandoned?
Abandoned, thank you. It's like we got the same thing for a game that we've already played.
Yeah, very... Yeah. I didn't know, because a lot of people got excited online for this one, and I just don't understand because... Okay, I'm as excited as I was before because it's the exact same piece of information.
Right.
The only difference is now we know it's a PS5 exclusive at console launch because... And you have to always repeat their wording exactly because they're doing some kind of PR mojo every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it always means something. It'll also be on PC at launch. And this has absolutely no hint of release date at all on this one. In fact, they're still hiring, so I wouldn't expect it anytime soon.
Yeah, like I don't expect to see this thing for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
I'm curious what you guys, especially CB, thinks, because I know you're like... We love all consoles, but I know you lean more towards Xbox. Original KOTOR was Xbox only, right? It's never been on a PlayStation console. The remake is coming to PS5 only at launch, or I'm sorry, what's the wording you said? PS5?
Wait, launch? Yeah. Oh, man. Now I forget already. See, that's the problem. You got to remember these quotes. Exclusive at console launch. That's what it was.
Exclusive at console launch. So, has this been done before?
Okay, hang on. Exclusive at console launch.
So, meaning it'll come to PC, but when it comes to console, it's going to come on PS5 only
during its launch.
During its launch,
which could. By the way, that wording leaves you like it could be for 1 week. Like the wording is so loose.
So I was working with my partner the other day when I saw this trailer and I showed him, and he is also a big Star Wars nut. He immediately had questions.
Oh, we all did.
Said something interesting, based upon who owns Star Wars. So Disney owns Star Wars. Disney infamously does not like to exclude anyone.
Well, unless it's with Spider-Man or Wolverine.
Well, hang on, we'll get there. So at the time, because technically Sony owns Spider-Man,
right?
Not
only
Disney.
But only movie distribution, though.
Right.
True. So I mean, there's funky leeway there. So I think Sony has a little more bargaining with Spider-Man because they do own the movie rights. Be like, ooh, well, if you want us to do the things, like we want this exclusive as game.
But since Sony doesn't own Star Wars, they may not get the final say for that to be exclusive to PS5.
So where you say exclusive at console launch, yes, like, ooh, you get it for a day. Congrats.
Right. And I'm sure it won't be that short, but their wording does leave that opportunity.
It'd be hilarious if it was.
Yeah.
And that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's just with something that is beloved as Star Wars, I am surprised that they are allowing a console exclusive. That just boggles my mind. With the other one that we'll talk about here in a bit, like that also is surprising to me. But
so I think the KOTOR remake being a PlayStation exclusive is a complete dirtbag move.
Why you say that?
Especially, so both KOTORs were Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're coming over to PlayStation exclusively. It really reminds me of when Rise of the Tomb Raider was an Xbox exclusive and everybody got mad. Lost it. So much anger. And then Knights of the Republic gets the same console swap, lockdown thing. And everyone's like, oh man, I'm so excited. What the hell is that about?
Yeah. And to be fair, I was upset about it when it happened with Tomb Raider. And
I was upset and I had an Xbox.
Yeah. So did I.
You guys already know how I feel about major franchise being locked behind console walls. I hate it.
Yeah.
Especially something like comic book characters and Star Wars and things like that. Like Halo, sure. That is your console exclusive. God of War, that is your console exclusive. But something that is a shared universe outside of your consoles, like comic books, movies, things like that should not be locked behind walls.
Especially with, I don't know why I let myself do this, but I go read the Twitter comments.
Yeah, we gotta get off Twitter, man.
It just drives me crazy. Everything turns into a console war. Just let them have one. Let them have one. I don't know. I'm with you. I think it's gross, but I don't know.
Let them have one. They already did have one.
See, so the Spider-Man thing doesn't bother me because it was announced as an exclusive. Mm-hmm. But KOTOR is a remake of a beloved game, very closely attached to Xbox in its history and with the nostalgia of the gamers to whom this most appeals. Mm-hmm. So to put it on PS5 is real scummy.
And to lock out that fan base. Especially because it's a remake. It's not, granted, it's going to be like ground up remake, right? It's not going to be, it's not going to look like the old game.
Yeah. No, they're going to dump probably everything they have into this to be like, you want to play it, come over here.
You think we're going to have like a Final Fantasy VII-esque remake of KOTOR?
I think this will hew more closely to the original.
Okay.
I assume that would. My preference would be the Spyro style remake where it's like shot for shot, but I know they're not going to do that because that combat is not going to appeal to most people today.
Plus, the success of Final Fantasy VII,
sure,
probably helps with at least something new.
I really want the D&D dice rolling pseudo turn-based combat of the original, but I don't think I'm going to get that.
Probably not.
Because that doesn't sell 8 million copies in 2021,
No. Well, coming off the heels of Knights of the Old Republic remake, we had a comment from GamerDad03 that said Star Wars KOTOR, Wolverine, and Spider-Man 2 all caught my eye. So I'm just glad I plugged up my PS5 to start playing. I just need to actually download some games on my PS5, LOL. He mentioned, we knew Spider-Man 2 was there. He mentioned that one.
Right.
Finally got to see something from that. What did you think, Zach? I'm really curious.
Well, I don't know if I don't want to jump. Do we want to jump the order? I guess it doesn't super matter.
Oh, okay. We'll start with Wolverine. Well, I see what you're saying. You want to go through the order of how they were announced?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
It's no secret what was announced, but I feel like talking about it.
We'll circle back.
Yeah,
we'll circle back to Wolverine and Spider-Man. What's next up? Project Eve 2021 on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. That is a Zach Parkerson game.
Yeah, I called dibs on this while they were showing the trailer.
And I wasn't watching live. I think it was in the car on my way to Milwaukee when I got a text from you saying that you're calling dibs on this one.
Yeah, this game was announced a couple years ago with a little teaser trailer where it was basically just the main character walking out of an escape pod or something. And they made clear in their announcement that they were heavily inspired by Nier Automata. And that is all the more evident now that we have seen some gameplay. There's no beating around the bush. about what game they're emulating. So much so, I really love this. This is just a me story, real quick. Yoko Taro quote tweeted the announcement of this game just with the word "buy." So he's on board.
Buy.
Yeah, as in he's going to buy this game immediately.
Oh, I thought you were saying buy as in goodbye.
No, buy as in BUY, as in this man loves him some sexy lady action games. But outside of that, I think it looks great. You know, it's nice to see a brand new single player IP.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
So, and it's in a genre I like. It appeals to me. I'm over the moon excited for Project Eve.
Yeah,
I may even play it.
You what?
I may even play it.
Wow, I think it looks great.
Let's see. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, March 25th, 2022, on pretty much everything but Switch. I don't know. The more I hear about this game, the less interested I get. Am I alone?
I'm really tired of getting hit in the face with it, because every time I turn around, it's just like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm like, great, Borderlands, cool.
I wish they were leaning further away from traditional Borderlands. The general premise of first-person shooter, but in like a fantasy D&D world, sounds pretty rad. But it just doesn't. For it being a spin-off, I don't feel like they're pulling enough away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this could, if this had been called Borderlands 4, I would have just been like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, just the more I see it, it's just Borderlands with a different skin.
Yeah, but not even that different a skin to me.
Yeah,
I wish the skin was differenter. More different?
Differenter, more different. Yeah.
Differenter.
Why don't you take the next comment there, CB?
Well, we also have Forspoken.
Yeah. You might want to mention the game first, Scott.
Oh, that was good. Okay.
This one I actually didn't see the trailer for.
Oh, okay.
So I can't speak to it, but Jacob Gunderson says Forspoken and Project Eve are games that stood out to me. I've been burned in the past for getting too excited, haven't we all? Eve got me in particular ways of the Nanobreaker feels, but I'm curious to see how Forspoken plays. So you guys may have to fill in the blanks for me on Forspoken.
Forspoken looks like a next-gen game to me.
Sure.
It looked stunningly gorgeous.
And we were seeing it like in full-blown action.
Right. You're actually seeing gameplay, and you're not just a cutscene or whatever. How do you describe this game? Third person?
Let me do it.
Okay.
Well, the general premise is a woman who is in like modern day New York with her kitty cat gets sucked into a fantasy world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Real isekai situation. I think I was probably more excited about the game when we didn't know that. However, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Scott's right. It is like a single player action game where you're doing a lot of high flying spell casting. It looks like you're casting like a lot of magic, almost shootery, right? And the way it works, but what really catches my eye is like how fast she moves across the world. She's almost hopping around, jumping like the Flash or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's
kinda
really
like Infamous on speed.
Yeah, like the speed is the fact that this game looks this good while she is moving that fast is pretty wild.
Yeah. CB, this one is worth going back and taking a look at because this looks like in my opinion, a must play on PS5.
So this trailer, did it legitimately look like the old school vertical slices of games? Where they just like take a section and build out like some gameplay?
They went back and forth between different locales and stuff. It wasn't like a non-stop running gameplay demo. You know what I mean? It was a cut.
Remember back when they did announce games with like narrated gameplay segments straight?
Dude, I missed that.
That was so exciting.
At E3 when they'd have somebody playing it live on stage and then talking through.
Oh man, one of my favorite E3 moments is that first Last of Us demo where it ran perfectly and the crowd was going crazy, and then the Naughty Dog developer just dropped the controller, like the mic. It just walked off stage.
Yeah,
I do feel that as we've moved toward these like digital events, like vertical slices have just disappeared.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I miss those.
Well,
because
unfortunately, these CGI trailers are selling. They're working. So we're going to keep getting them.
If I was Sony, I don't even like. I would just be like, it doesn't matter what we do. Everybody just eats up everything we do.
Pretty much.
This fan base is so deeply tied to us that they could have put out Wolverine. They could never show us gameplay of Wolverine, and it would somehow still sell 6 million copies.
I mean, I'm sold.
See,
and I'm not even like one of those people, but like, unless it's an XCOM game, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play Wolverine.
Right. But shout out to Jacob Gunderson, my dude, because these are the games that look so exciting to me as well. My only hang up with Forspoken, and I'm sure it will go away past the opening hours, is her like when she gets to the magic world, going like, "Oh, whoa, so cool! I can use magic and stuff, bro!" Like, just very. It feels like a 45-year-old man, like it is games written by Gary Whitta, writer of Star Wars Rogue One. It feels like a man of that age and demographic trying to approximate what a 20-year-old would sound like.
Right.
And it just sounds corny as hell.
Isn't Amy Hennig also on the writing team for this too?
Yeah, but she joined late though.
Okay.
But you're right. This is going to be the grand return of Amy Hennig after a fashion.
Which her name alone.
You're right.
I'm sold.
That does, but that's just like, and again, I'm sure like past the first hour or two when she's actually like has to live in this fantasy world will be a lot more interesting. But like
her name is on the bill first before Gary Whitta. Have you noticed that? Like in everything, it's like
I didn't catch that.
Amy Hennig and Gary Whitta. You know what I mean? Which
she's a bigger name than Gary Whitta, at least in this world.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Rainbow Six Extraction. I still get the feeling that none of us are like super amped on that game.
No, it makes my blood boil to think about. I mean, just if Tom Clancy was alive, this would never happen. You would not be fighting aliens as the freaking Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
this has no connection to Rainbow Six at all. It's utterly infuriating.
Yeah,
I honestly think this game probably would have actually done better if it wasn't named Rainbow Six Extraction.
You're absolutely right, Steve. If it was just like a
just
first
Extraction,
person,
just drop the Rainbow Six.
Just a first, like, it just this and with that whatever that Tom Clancy game with the XD in the title was, the punk rock shooter, like, it just completely alienates somebody who, I always made a point to buy every Tom Clancy game up until he died, basically, because then any semblance of what that meant went away.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Ugh. Anyway, sorry. These are just very fun tactical games, and those they're dead.
Just paid homage to like the amount of research that went into the military side of those things for those games and books and movies was impressive. And now they're just like, throw it all out the window. Aliens, bro. Next we're doing ghosts.
Right, like everything about it, like everything Sam Fisher used was something that was actively used by the military or in development. It was always that close. And like it was such a back and forth, right? Because the most iconic thing about Sam Fisher is the tri goggles. But it took like 8 months to convince Tom Clancy to even allow that, because those kind of goggles don't exist. They didn't exist at that time. And but they really had to like explain to him like how annoying it would be if he had to like take off night vision goggles and put on thermal ones. Like they used to have to like actually care. They just don't anymore.
Right. That's a really interesting fact though about that. I didn't know that they had to convince him to do that, because obviously they don't exist.
No, it's just because you want your character to stand out in silhouette, right? And they really had to try to explain them to him. And also, yes, they're right. It would have been the game would not be as fun to play if you had to like swap out your headset goggles.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
All right, Alan Wake Remastered. We had talked about it the previous week, or maybe the week before.
On board.
Officially announced for October of this year.
October 5th.
Everything but Switch. That's quick. Holy cow, that's quick.
I think it's smart. I think it's a little lame, the leaving out American Nightmare.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been that much to tack that on there, would it?
You wouldn't think so. I mean, it's also like almost completely inessential to the overall narrative, but it still just would have been like a nice little bonus.
That was the DLC, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like a standalone
DLC.
Yeah, but it was like almost like a horde combat kind of game.
In today's day and age, that's going to get tacked on in like 3 or 4 months as like a $20 DLC.
Well, let's hope it's like an unlockable mode after you beat Alan Wake Remastered. Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be a surprise. Nobody knows about it.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
But yes, very exciting. They're obviously prepping for the next game.
Right. Also, they felt it important to announce GTA 5
again.
It's like between that and Skyrim, which they're competing. Which one's going to sell on the most number of consoles before they give up? I feel like.
I think Skyrim officially passed Resident Evil 4 as the most ported game ever with their anniversary edition announcement.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately to the point that if I hear Skyrim or GTA 5 again, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm so tired of hearing. Like, granted, yes, I know they sell millions and millions of copies, but I'm so tired of hearing of them.
Yeah.
I don't mind that it's coming, right? It's just like, this is not the slot to show it in.
Like, does everybody need to be reminded that it's coming?
Yeah, just throw up the trailer on YouTube. It doesn't need to be part of this grand presentation.
Right. Yeah. Ghostwire Tokyo, Spring 22 on PS5 is a temporary exclusive.
Another Xbox game coming exclusively to PlayStation.
I like the fact that now it's been tacked on as like a temporary exclusive, not for long.
Yeah. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy coming October 26th on everything.
I am excited.
Dude, that is moving up to like just the game I am so excited about.
I really hope they nail it. I think their marketing strategy outside of this is like weird, where they're just showing like straight cutscenes, but I'm just ignoring that because I think it looks rad. I'm on board. It's cool that it's coming to Switch via that weird streaming technology thing they do. It's nice that people can play it there if they want.
Mm-hmm. A game I have very little interest in, I'm not going to lie. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, 2021 on PS5 and compatible. Now available in early access for PC. This is basically Battle Royale melee vampires, right?
Yeah, this trailer got me sadder the further it went along.
Yeah.
Because at first it was like, oh, vampire game. Ooh, because I'm coming fresh off of having rewatched the Blade movies and stuff. I'm all on board. And then, like, they're showing one faction, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Then another faction, I'm like, ooh, interesting, you pick sides. Then we get to the third faction, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a freaking multiplayer game, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's a Battle Royale.
So, every time they announce a Vampire the Masquerade game, I get super excited until they show me it because, like, back when I first started playing D&D, I played Vampire the Masquerade, which was another pen and paper D20 game.
Mm-hmm.
And I played one of the early PC ones, like back in the 90s, and it was god-awful. And so now I'm like, yes, maybe they can finally do it right. And every time I see one, I'm just like, no, we're not there yet.
What I will say is with the powers and everything, it gives me vibes of that old Shadowrun multiplayer game.
That was multiplayer only, I remember that, right?
Yeah, but which I know was an insult to all fans of Shadowrun, but it was actually really fun.
I heard it was. I didn't play it, but I heard good things about it. Deathloop, we talked about that already. Release date is September 14th, so that's tomorrow as of this recording.
Right, yeah.
So by the time you guys hear this episode, that game will be out.
I think Cody had a funny comment. As it said, Deathloop for the 15th time, but he's also pretty excited about pretty much everything. Yeah, the Deathloop, fun factoid, has completed a rare circuit where it has been shown at every PlayStation event since its announcement.
Oh.
It's never missed a show. So I don't know what's left from Deathloop you haven't seen out there. But it's really funny.
We'll find out tomorrow. I somehow missed Kid Amnesia, November 2021, PS5. What was that when I missed it?
It appeared to be another Fortnite event.
Oh,
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it actually.
Radiohead.
It's a Radiohead epic crossover, is what they said. So it might not actually be a Fortnite thing, but you put epic together with anything, I immediately think what's happening in Fortnite.
Yeah,
but okay. but I could be wrong. That's just speculation. We don't actually know what it is.
Gotcha. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Is it just Tchia?
I've been saying Chia.
Chia.
Yeah.
TCHIA. It comes out in 2022 on PS4, PS5, and PC. Looks like a lovely game. Like, it just looks very soothing, beautiful. artfully done. I think Alyssa has expressed interest in checking this one out. So
that's because you can like control animals and stuff, and you can like use the momentum of animals. I want to say they specified. So like if you're like diving as a bird and you jump into a turtle, like the turtle has the momentum of the bird, so you can like move fast as a turtle for a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
It seems really neat. I'm on board.
Let's see.
I love when they prop up one indie game every show. And it's always nice to see.
Yeah, what was the one that they did? It was the painting game that you played, where you did the graffiti on the wall.
Oh yeah, Concrete Genie.
Yes, Concrete Genie. That was that year was the year. That was the game for that year.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, which this is going to include like Lost Legacy and stuff, right?
Uncharted 4, and then Uncharted Lost Legacy. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. So that's coming to games we've already played, but some people may not have. You think it's going to be a $60 title?
Unquestionable. Might be a $70 title.
That's true.
But
you had your hand up, CB. Have you not played these?
Remember we've talked about this. I've not played an Uncharted game.
Oh my god, we need to break the seal on that.
Lost Legacy is great. Uncharted 4 is not. It's funny that PC players are only getting 4 to start with.
Uh-huh.
That's just weird. But I do reckon that the majority of people who played Uncharted 4, I think that was probably their first Uncharted.
Huh.
Well, just think about it, because it came out on PS4 at launch, and PS4 was so much more popular than PS3 was at its heyday. True. I just think a lot of people started with 4.
I would recommend you starting from the beginning. I feel like the story beats in that.
I have all of them.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine doing 4 and not having the backstory of.
I would say do yourself a favor and just stop at 3.
4 is not that bad.
The story is completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
However, anyway, Marvel's Wolverine,
which was a surprise. This was probably the biggest surprise for me.
I have so many words to say about
Well, before we get into what I can only assume will be a angry diatribe from CB, Thomas Bex writes in, I am intrigued by the Wolverine announcement. I'm curious what kind of game it will be and if it will entice me to play it for my love of the X-Men comics. And Thomas, huge X-Men guy. We're Discord messaging about X-Men comics pretty often.
Yeah?
Yeah, as he tries to convince me to read more X-Men, and I try to convince him to read more Green Lantern.
Oh, how's that working out for you guys?
Not well for either.
Fair enough.
CB, what would you like to add?
I am a huge X-Men fan.
All right.
From like the late 80s till current, I've kept up. I know at one point in time on this wall right here next to me, there was a giant X-Men poster with like almost every character that's ever been shown in the comics. Sony has no dog in the fight to like against Disney be like, hey, because Disney owns Fox. Congrats, you own the movie rights to the X-Men even. Like Disney owns all of the X-Men. Why the hell is this behind a paywall?
You mean locked behind a console wall?
Yeah, like you would have to buy a console just to play this. Like this should be on all consoles, regardless.
Well, I'll pop in real quick and say they did cover in an interview that Insomniac came to Marvel with the idea. So Insomniac wanted to make a Wolverine game, and then Sony approved it after Marvel approved it. So there is that. However, I agree it's lame that more and more characters in pop culture are beginning to become exclusive to stuff, right? Even Indiana Jones on Xbox is pretty lame. I will say it makes me less angry because they're upfront about it. Unlike the like Spider-Man and Avengers thing, which I think is just one of the dirtiest gaming tricks ever.
Mm-hmm.
That this multiplayer game on every console, you just don't get one of the characters on the other consoles. I think that's I can't even put into words how disgusting a business move that is. But this, they're upfront about it. I think it's pretty evident it's taking place in the Spider-Man universe. So like I'm not angry about this one. But I understand why you would be if you're a big fan.
No, and again, I can actually kind of complain about it. I do own both consoles. Will I play this game? Yes. But it just kind of frustrates me that there are a large amount of people out there that will probably not really get a chance to play this game. Yeah. Because not only is your consoles hard to get a hold of right now, you're going to lock it behind one of them only.
Mm-hmm. Like it's not going to be PS4, is what you mean.
It does. I mean, it feels a little short-sighted on Marvel's part to associate their characters so closely with one video game brand.
Yeah, especially when you just had the disaster that is Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah, that's definitely a disaster. Although, if I may just be an excited fanboy for a moment, CB, I think it would be awesome if Insomniac just had this pattern of here's one short story with a Marvel, like a Wolverine here, and then you get Spider-Man 2, and then here's a Daredevil in our universe, Spider-Man 3. I think that would be a really cool pattern to build a universe. Just like one-off stories with the characters, and then like Spider-Man's your linchpin,
and then bring them all together.
I don't necessarily need that myself.
Yeah, but how would you feel if they go, hey, we're making a brand new Green Lantern game, and it's only available on Xbox?
Again, if
Xbox
they tell me,
Series X.
If they tell me at launch, that's one thing. Well, luckily, because Xbox is such a friendly consumer product, I don't have to worry about that, because they'll always ensure I'm available to play it on whatever console I have.
Oh, look at him.
True. But I'm saying, like,
I know.
Say you didn't have one.
No. I remember being, unbelievably angry about Rise of the Tomb Raider, even though I owned the console it was exclusive to.
Yeah,
because it's just a dirty move to take something away. But this doesn't feel like taking it away because they announced it as an exclusive up front.
Yeah,
I will say,
and it's not like it's Wolverine CB, 2. Anyway, sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I will say to CB to rebuttal what you were saying about making it hard to get a hold of your console. How difficult it is to get a PS5 right now. This game's not coming out till 2024, right? There's no way. We don't have a release date. I'm just speculating.
I would love it if it came out before Spider-Man 2. That would be cool. But you're right. It's probably. I mean, in my ideal world, this is like a 6 to 8 hour action game.
Right.
You just get in Wolverine, make it bloody. They did promise it'll have a mature tone.
Yeah.
But it just give me like an 8-hour Wolverine game.
Who do you want to voice Wolverine?
Mark Hamill.
Really?
He did the X2 game, if you'll remember. Maybe you don't. It was the only time he voiced Wolverine was for the X2 game, and he's very good as Wolverine.
I might have to go look up a video and listen to that because I have not heard that.
That man is. I was watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated today, and I forgot that he played characters in that. Like,
I was
watching it. I'm like, man, he is so wide on voice acting.
Yeah.
He's great.
Who would have known Luke Skywalker was going to do all voice work?
Yeah.
He's so versatile.
I mean, again, I'm excited for the game. It just frustrates me with Disney's policy on we like to include everybody, that they made a decision like this.
And they clearly said that is PS5 exclusive. That's not timed or at launch or
nor is it on PS4.
Right. So it's
well, then the logos in that red splash, which is very much the Spider-Man thing. And then in the trailer, there's a bunch of Easter egg. There's an Easter egg for 1048, which is the Earth that Spider-Man PS4 takes place on. So it seems like it's going to be pretty. The Insomniac verse is being born.
Oh, instead of a Marvel verse, it's an Insomniac verse.
I mean, so far it is.
That's what it's turning into.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, it lightly sucks that Insomniac is it seems like they're just going to be a Marvel studio. However, I'm not that deep into Ratchet or Resistance or anything anyway.
Uh-huh.
And as long as this doesn't lead to a weird thing where now Naughty Dog's putting out a Marvel game, it'll be all right. If there's just one Marvel studio at Sony, I think I can live with it.
Hey, you know what? Insomniac, they make a great game.
They do. Absolutely. You don't have to tell me, man. I've played Spider-Man once or twice.
Man, I should go back and revisit that too.
Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna boot it up.
The tone. I will say though, the tone in that trail, even though it's like a little teaser, the tone in that trailer felt glorious.
The Wolverine. Oh, as much as we're ragging on CGI trailers, this is how you do one right.
Yeah. Yep, we get the premise. And the fact that it's probably going to take place like early in his history.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, looks like the bar from like before he joined the X-Men in the movies. So it's probably just right after
a lot of Madripoor Easter eggs in the trailer as well. So it's a big X-Men fan. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Also, cool. Zach, you just mentioned they do this and then they do a Deadpool game, incorporate Wolverine into that.
Sure.
Like
the bro team up of all times.
Oh man, the possibilities. Just think what they did with the little that they did in the Deadpool movie with Wolverine, where he's like, does he take his pants off and he's got like
the
a picture
of thing?
Yeah.
No, he takes the mask off. Yeah.
Yeah. He took the mask off and he's got like
took his pants off. And there's a picture like what?
I was mixing it up with a Friends blooper, I think, where he.
I'm more excited by the possibility of a Deadpool Spider-Man team up than I am a Wolverine Deadpool team up. So
I'll be the lame nerd in the room and say I don't really want a crossover game.
Oh man, we all three want different things. Who knew? Well, let's move on because we got a big one to talk about. But Gran Turismo 7, no surprise, looks incredible. And I don't think
visually,
will play
sure.
It. Yeah. Visually, it looks incredible.
I haven't cared about the Gran Turismo series since 3.
Yeah, I think 3 was the last one I played as well.
I am very interested to see how the game will sell, since Gran Turismo used to be Sony's biggest cash cow.
Mm-hmm.
I think God of War is the only franchise of theirs that's outsold Gran Turismo. So I very much want to see what 7 does sales wise, because I know 6 was a bit of a disappointment sales wise. So I'm very intrigued.
7 million copies.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's just like so quietly their biggest juggernaut thing, and that's why that team gets to take 8 years to make a game. Because whenever they put it out, everybody comes. But I wonder if Forza's worn anybody down yet or something. Anyway, I'm very fascinated to see how it would do. I will never play it in my life.
Just please put damage in finally.
They can't license the cars and put in damage.
Yeah. That's not them not being willing to. That is, they're not allowed to.
Yeah. It's dumb, but it is the rule.
Marvel Spider-Man 2. Apparently coming out in 2023 on PS5.
I believe it. I believe that date.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard time believing dates anymore at all.
Man. Insomniac seems to just knock these friggin' things out.
That's true. But Sean Coates wrote in, said, I'm sure the talk of the day will be Insomniac's Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. It certainly tripped my trigger. And with Spidey releasing in 2023, hopefully the supply lines will be restored to pre-pandemic levels by then, and I can actually pick up a PS5 with ease. Regardless, I'm still going to get a Series X first, but I'm finally starting to see a reason to get a PlayStation as well. I know they're making some bad moves in regards to upgrading from PS4 to 5, but sooner or later, it'll be a moot point. And he makes a good point there.
He does. Hey, I've constantly been saying I will upgrade to a PS5 when they give me a reason to. They finally did.
There you go.
There's one thing in this trailer I'm super excited about.
What's that?
I'm willing to bet you get to play him.
Oh yeah, I think so. The big trailer thing, right, is that Kraven's narrating it, and then Venom's in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And
but just that line.
Well, yeah, because Kraven's asking for a challenger, and then Venom going, "Yes, we will." Amazing! I got chills.
I've got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Oof! What an announcement trailer! Oh my god! And yeah, I'm with CB. I think Venom's going to be 100% playable in this game.
100%. Yeah, I feel like it would be silly if he wasn't.
It would be a huge missed opportunity if he was not. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like this is where I'm like, which Venom is it going to be? Is it going to be the Flash Thompson Venom, or is it going to be the Eddie Brock Venom?
I think it's a pretty safe bet it'll be Harry Osborn.
Really?
Well, look at the end of Spider-Man.
I know, but I want the Flash Thompson Venom.
I would think it would be I think it'd be a cool move if Flash Thompson's like how it ended, right? Like the symbiote goes onto Peter or whatever, and then Miles has to save him, and then you get your Flash Thompson Venom. I don't think Eddie Brock is essential to Venom in any way. But I'm excited to see what they do with it, because Insomniac Spider-Man is one of the best takes, if not the best take on Spider-Man I've ever experienced in my life. I think it probably is. And it's just the team over there. They know what they're doing. They get Spider-Man.
And you can tell they're fans.
Again, it's one of the few video games that's made me shed a tear, man.
Yeah, multiple times even. Like it. They know
the sophomore follow-up it better be damn good.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what the Goblin presence will be in this game. My biggest concern was that it was going to be co-op based on the combat moves you see in the trailer, but they did confirm it's single player. Thank God.
That would have been a bummer.
I would have really lost a lot of enthusiasm.
I actually would like if you had the option.
I don't know, because the DLC of the first one had a bunch of team up fights with Black Cat, and those are already really fun. So if you do almost like an Arkham Knight thing where you can swap between characters mid fight, I think you can make a pretty awesome combat system where you play as both Spider-Men. But I don't want co-op, man. The last thing I want, especially coming out of, as you're saying, like a tearjerker of a story, like the last thing I want is some other Yahoo in there, or some AI acting a fool that has to follow you around the whole game. Just no thanks. Maybe if there's like a co-op mode or something.
Yeah, I'm saying it'd be fun, because I would love to play a co-op mode with you. It'd
be cool if they did like a co-op storyline that's like just like some mini story that happens in between Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2. That'd be cool. Yeah. If it was separate, I'd be into that. However, yeah, this trailer, over the moon with excitement. No surprise. I'm sorry, everyone listening will have to go through another cycle of me freaking out over every trailer for a Spider-Man thing. But, it looks insane. And Kraven, a character I hated as a kid, but I love as an adult for some reason. I think he versus Venom sounds sick. I'm on board. Oh my God.
Not to mention all the side stuff they can throw in this game.
I'm all in. My only thing is people freaking out because the footage was captured real time on PS5. I would say everybody settle down. I highly doubt the game will look this good in motion. You should. I don't know why everybody's so excited about the graphics. We have been fooled about 900 times with being told that something's running in real time, and then the game comes out and everyone's like, man, what a downgrade. Stop falling for it.
The puzzles look different.
I'm holding out hope, because I know what these machines are capable of.
I have no doubt it'll look amazing. Everybody settle down.
All right, last game on the list that was shown. They closed the show. God of War Ragnarok for PS4 and PS5, not just PS5. We've got a couple comments here. Anybody want to take one?
I will take the first one.
All right.
Fierus from Discord. Excited for Star Wars. Other than that, of course, they are going to stay on footing with staples like God of War. Probably a polished experience, but no surprise I'm intrigued by Wolverine. But if it plays like Spider-Man, I know what to expect. And yet another Spider-Man. Good games, but if they want to wow me, they should have shown a whole lot more Gran Turismo and Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, there you go. There's somebody else that wanted to see more Gran Turismo.
I'll say, Fierus, I can understand you're a Gran Turismo fan, but if they showed any more, you would have put most of the people watching to sleep.
Probably.
Final Fantasy 16, though, hell yeah. Show me more.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't shown here at all, right?
No. But it is a PS5 exclusive.
It's weird, right?
See, that one's annoying. That one shouldn't be.
That's every other game, only exclusive to PS5.
All right, but specifically God of War, why don't you read the rest of Fierce's comment there, CB, because this is where it gets interesting.
I find it interesting, though, Sony's stance on game preservation. Curious as they don't believe that older games are worth experiencing, when what's the next thing that they're planning on giving me? A God of War.
Right, well, especially and they're giving you another Gran Turismo fresh off of Jim Ryan saying, why would anybody play old Gran Turismos? Is also funny.
So, you guys want to read the other comment, and then we'll start unpacking this God of War.
Okay. Zach, go ahead.
Sure. Bill C. Gardner II said, it was a great last 10 minutes. They have great games coming, and I'm glad I got my PS5 to turn it on eventually. See, that's what I'm saying. Give me a reason to upgrade. I don't want a $500 brick right now. Nothing beats the Game Pass offering, though, for me personally anyway. Also, going back and forth between my Xbox PC for the Game Pass games has been awesome. Dude, that's definitely a sticking point, right? Is that when you think about, we don't know a lot of Xbox's lineup, but when you think about how all their games are going to be included and all of these games will be $70 a pop, it's an interesting conversation.
Well, then again, not to bring up the console wars, but the argument is, well, if I buy it, I own the game. It doesn't like just get to come off the Game Pass whenever I want, which is true. I mean, you're still paying for the license to play the game, but that's a whole other argument.
I will say I actually did get to experience the Game Pass thing where it's like, oh, this game is coming off, but we'll sell it to you for a severely discounted price.
Yeah.
But now with Microsoft games.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a whole thought there, and I can't remember what it was. It just, to be clear, these comments, make it sound like we were just trashing Sony. I was impressed as hell with this release of announcements.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a great show. Absolutely great show.
Seriously, like I'm very excited to be excited about PS5 again.
I am excited to finally be excited about PS5.
I mean, I just get caught up in the newest stuff, the new technology, and just gotta have it. But I haven't fired up my PS5 in months. Partially due to just a lack of time to play games as much as I wanted, but I'm playing Xbox and Switch more than anything else. So
I mean, yeah, I'm excited to actually finally have a reason to use my PS5 as well. So
yeah. So let's talk about God of War Ragnarok.
There we go. I was surprised at how excited I was.
6 to midnight.
Yeah?
6 to midnight. That exciting, huh?
Dude, you have no idea. Like, after last year, listening to, like, Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology.
Oh, yeah.
And them actually, like, look, we're going to pay actual tribute to what these characters should look like. And seeing Thor.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, dude, I am over the moon for this game.
When was the last time you saw Thor depicted actually accurately? Like in anything?
Dude, it's been forever.
It's insane. But so Thor, big old belly, big old red beard, as he's described in every Norse folktale ever. It's friggin' cool because he's always prettied up for the American audience. Chris Hemsworth has especially destroyed what Thor means to people.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks awesome.
You guys know that I was both late to the God of War thing. Like, I didn't play 1, 2, or 3. So my first God of War experience was the newer one. And I fell in love with that game to like ridiculous levels.
You're going to have a vastly different experience if you go back and play those originals, let me tell you. They're still good, but they're not quite the same.
Yeah, but like this new one, just like some of the footage that they're showing, the story beats, like I was excited at the end when they had like the little teaser at the end of the last one for Thor.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now, because I was worried that they were going to do like a Chris Hemsworth Thor. And now we actually see like their take on it. I'm like, yes, they are staying true to Norse mythology. And then the story beats to me were so good that like this I'm more excited about this than anything else they showed, bar none.
And I'm still
a huge
confused
Spider-Man
that people are
Wolverine
upset by this trailer.
Because it's not Chris Hemsworth.
Right, and then like reuse animations like, well, welcome if you want a game sequel this fast of this fidelity, they're going to reuse a boat animation. Absolutely. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Is that really going to hamper your game experience at all because they use the same boat animation? I just don't.
Yeah, I really don't care about a boat animation. I care about the story, how it plays, and does it entertain me.
Yeah, I'm also stoked, man. For someone who did not love God of War as much,
I was going to say
this trailer, but I do remember thinking, I'm like, but the next one could be great. And I think we're going to start. Like, Ragnarok is coming. The Thor tease, I'm all on board for. I like Atreus has grown up quite a bit, clearly. And I like that he's challenging Kratos, right? Like, there's that line where he's like, You need to start acting like a general, not like a father. And Kratos just goes, no. Like, I love that because it shows the growth of Kratos as a man, too. Because he's more interested in being a father than being a warrior. Like, it's just, it's good stuff, man. I think it has the chance to run into the issues I had with the first one, right? With like pacing and stuff, and how I didn't really like their world design. But this trailer got me stoked.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a head to talk to you much sooner.
Well, Atreus, the role he's going to play in this story, I'm very, very excited for. I like that Thor. Sounds like he's willing to work with Kratos a little bit, right? Like the way he talks in the trailer. So I really don't know where the story's going to go, and I'm so pumped. They said that this is the end of the Norse saga, right, of God of War. So it's just these 2 games.
So it's not going to be a trilogy. It's interesting.
Is a Norse story, right? But if you remember this first reboot, right, they tease, like the Egyptian realms and whatnot. So I think, it's going to leave room for him to go to other mythologies. But the fact that they're just like, you know what, like Ragnarok should be the end of a Norse story, right? Yeah. There's nothing after it. So I'm very, very excited for this game. And I am surprised. Especially talking right now, I am surprised at how excited I am.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, I really hope this becomes a thing. Like, moving on, like, ooh, they go to Egyptian mythology, or do something crazy like Hindu mythology.
Yeah, hit up some Celtic stuff.
Oh, dude, don't play with my emotions like
great? That. Scott, what about you?
Oof. I just want to play more God of War. The thing about the first one that just got me so pumped was that moment, which I know it's been a few years, but I don't want to give away that moment. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, this trailer kind of gives away a little bit of that moment, right?
Okay. But how are you going to top that from a like going back to the well kind of?
Kidding me?
Well, it's interesting because I would love to talk to CB off mic about that moment because it probably meant less to him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, as someone who's been playing God of War since the first one, like, yeah, I don't know how you top that moment.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
You know exactly where I'm going with this. I guess
there is a certain hammer that would be pretty nice to wield.
Not just a hammer, but they've hinted towards another god.
Yeah.
Who also wields 2 specific weapons.
This could be cool.
So,
anyway, I'm excited. That moment, like I said, was really cool, but what also wrapped me into that game was the music and just the brooding nature of Kratos. And like you said, the dialogue between him and Atreus now, like I just can't wait to see where it goes. Like I'm to the point with this game where I'm okay just being on complete blackout until it releases.
Yeah.
Are you
just because I just want
concerned that Cory Barlog's not directing this one?
Yeah, because just the blood, sweat, and tears he put into that first one, and just the sheer joy we saw when he was reading reviews live. I worry that it's not going to blow everyone away as much as the first one did, because the delta from God of War Ascension to this was so huge. Whereas this is going to be a continuation of that, which isn't a bad thing, but it's gonna be hard to top.
I don't think it's gonna be hard to top.
No?
No, with the plethora that is there for the story beats,
mm-hmm.
I mean, going from Baldur the Beautiful to Thor the Arrogant, to me, just seems ridiculously fun for a story beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, we already know who the final boss of this game is going to be. So.
Presumably, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just watching him.
There are 2 good final bosses you could have.
Well, actually, I don't. I'm almost to the point, though, that I have a theory. We'll talk off air.
Say this might be different. There might be a different podcast there.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, this conversation, because that was a lot to dig into. That was a really good idea, Zach, to kind of do that as our topic, because we were able to pick it apart a little bit more than we usually do. And thanks to everybody that wrote in with comments and discussion points, because I had a lot of fun going back and reliving that. Really love what we saw. I think we all really came out of that excited about Sony. More excited we've been about Sony for a while, yes?
For the games, yes. For the policies, no.
Venom, man. Venom.
Yeah.
Venom is a villain. Venom hasn't been a villain in like 15 years. That's so exciting.
In a video game, you mean?
No, like even in the comics. I mean, he hasn't been a significant villain since Spider-Man 3, the movie.
Oh, that's true.
Right, because in the Venom movie, he's like an anti-hero.
Yeah. That's where I was.
Like
that's where I went heading with that. But
Venom being a hardcore, like, I'm going to destroy Spider-Man. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Next week, we don't have a topic selected yet. However, it's going to be an interesting episode, very special episode, because both CB and I will be out, which means it's going to be Zach and Alyssa. It's the first time we've had just the two of them on an episode. Do you have any idea what you guys are going to talk about? Do you have a topic lined up or ideas? Anything?
Cats.
Weeaboo culture? I have no idea. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh, wow.
Pets in video games?
Cats and weebs.
There you go. That'd be good. But stay tuned for the social medias for what we'll be talking about. But for now, that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words before you get out of here?
You know what I mean? Honestly, not too much. I've been consumed by the Matrix Resurrection trailer, so
just been watching it on repeat.
It's
John Wick, The Matrix.
Oh God, don't get me started.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Scott sent me a fun internet meme, and I responded with like the most hardcore nerd nonsense I could have.
True story. Zach's been sitting in the bathtub with a rubber ducky on his head. I can only assume.
Yes, absolutely. I've been just buying red pills to just swallow. I don't even know what they are. I've just been swallowing them.
CB, what about you?
Two quick things. Zach will kind of appreciate this. I've dove back into my Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
And over the last week, I've pounded out every single issue of Marvel Zombies.
Oh, well, I guess What If got you started, huh?
Yeah, it definitely got me going. So now I've started to read some other stuff too. But then I've also started a new TV series now that I've kind of finished the last couple ones that I've been watching. And I've never seen the show, or I'd never heard about it until somebody told me about it, but The Good Doctor.
Okay.
Oh, I watched that.
Yeah, so one of my favorite TV shows of all time is House, which David Shore did. I didn't realize that David Shore did this as well.
He sure did.
And just quirky doctors. So
that's his shtick.
I'm absolutely loving this show.
Nice.
I'm almost through the first season already. So
that was fast.
I have an addictive personality, man. I can't help it.
As for me, I finished book 3 of Game of Thrones, or Song of Ice and Fire. So I am 3 books into that series now. That's like the 6th book I've finished this summer. Zach, you should be proud of me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
is it wildly divergent from the show then at this point?
Not wildly. Although I will say that book 3 is like let me put it this way. Season 3 of the show is like half of the first half of the book. And season 4 is the second half of book 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been told that things start getting really crazy, and they introduce a new character at the very end of book 3 that I have no idea who they are, and it just like this like epilogue stuck out like a sore thumb for me, and I have no idea where it's going. I almost need to go back and re-listen to it before I start book 4, but so that's there. And then the last thing I'm going to recommend is, this might shock you, Zach, but I'm going to recommend a graphic novel series. The only reason I brought it up is because it's one I've read that actually the television show released today, I believe, and it is Why the Last Man.
Oh, okay.
I cannot tell you the author's name, but
Brian
I read that.
Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed that series. Like, I read that whole thing in like a weekend or something.
Wow.
And the TV show is out. I have not watched it yet, but because the show is out, I can't speak to its quality, but I can speak to the quality of the graphic novel series. I've
never actually read it, but it is one of those weird graphic novels where like even non-comic people read it.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't. I gave away. I had all 10 of them, or like all 10 of the books, and I gave them away to a friend for Christmas one year. I didn't know you hadn't read them. I wish I still had them. I could share them with you, but
yeah, it's like weirdly like the only Brian K. Vaughan thing I haven't read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of a weird Vaughan blind spot.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. CB and Zach, thanks so much for joining me, as always. Want to remind everybody, The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. StemageMusic.com is his website. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.